Yes, it has begun. The Saturday night stream has just now kicked off. We are officially back in business. Oh, yes. Are you guys ready for a good time tonight? It's Saturday night. The whole world is talking about the fake moon mission. So why not we talk about the fake moon mission? That is how this channel here got started, was talking about how outer space travel is fake. And so I see these videos coming across my home feed talking about Artemis this and Artemis that, and here's a new image of Earth. I'm like, holy shit, I need to get to work. This is what I was brought into this world to do for you. So I started to make a video. And I wasn't feeling it. The video was like, this is going to take me all fucking night. I want to party with my people live and point at these images with my homies live. And I want us to all collectively point and laugh at the failure, which is NASA, together here live tonight. It sounded way more fun. So I stopped making the video. I whipped this stream together as quick as I could. And here we are. So with that said, let's kick this party off. Insane in the Brain says, get him, Jake. I shall. Felipe Ager says, live, yes. Rosebell in the house. Hi, Rosebell. Glad to see you tonight. All right. Jason's here. He says, yay. All right. Looks like Jonna's here as well. She says, hi, Jake and friends. Hello to everybody. All right, let me make sure my watch page is on and popping, and we'll get started. We're going to focus on the Artemis topic tonight, and I'll show some videos. And then if we have time at the end, we'll just make it all up, and you guys can talk about whatever you want. All right. Looks like I'm looking good on my end. And I got a few pre-show super chats, not a ton, so we can get through these really quickly, and then we'll get the party started. All right. Good times, good times. Artemis and Apollo were twins. Were they? See, I wasn't alive when they originally faked the moon landing back in '69 and the early '70s. I wasn't alive back then. So that wasn't something I figured out until like 2014 or something was when I finally woke up to all these conspiracies like at once, you know? All right. So the first super chat that came in was from RY. He wants me to do Richie from Boston's Bible Juice Hour podcast, guest Roseanne, land on the moon guy, get into a heated debate about 49ers. Richie from Boston has to break it up and go on a Bible Juice commercial break. Holy shit. That's a whole bunch to get us started coming in from RY. All right, welcome back to the first ever Bible Vape Juice podcast, the one and only podcast where we rid the Chinese nano drones from your ass. And of course, I wouldn't be able to do this without my sidekicks here. Of course, the one and only, my one and only. Give it up for Roseanne.
Hello, Earthlings, and all the Anunnaki who are listening, all the higher life forms. And if you're a fucking commie, you can get lost because you don't belong here.
Land on the moon, we land on the moon, take it over, go to the moon. But this time we will not land there soon. We just go there and then come back. What the hell do you think of that? We don't land on the moon, don't land on the moon. That's right. They definitely won't be landing on the moon anytime soon, but they will be getting very close. And of course, That also reminds me that football season is coming up, and we know that the Land on the Moon fella who joins us here tonight is a huge 49ers fan. So do you think the 49ers will win the Super Bowl next year? I think that the 49ers is going to win the Super Bowl this next year, and I am going to bet my entire chain of mini marts. All right. There you go. I think that's as close as I'm going to get to doing all that shit. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break. You have to use my promo code down below to get 33% off of these Bible Vape Juice cartridges if and when you want to rid your anus of the Chinese nano drones. At any rate, I digress. All right, there you go, RY. Too much stuff for me to keep track of while I'm live. All right, the next one came in from RY, wants me to do Elon Musk planning to build a dome stadium. He says that the 49ers are one of the first teams which are going to play in the dome stadium, broadcasted back to Earth. Roseanne pissed. Land on the Moon guy is happy. All right, let me see if this one came in early enough that I can pull it up on screen. Some of these came in early. Wow. Like challenging the fuck out of me tonight, dude. Hoping I could have a nice stream where I got to do like 87 impressions before I get started, but it looks like I'm going to have to do a bunch of impressions. All right. Shit. 1 second. Trying to pull it up on my end. How are you guys doing tonight? If you guys are feeling good tonight, go ahead and hit the thumbs up in advance. We're going to be breaking down the Artemis stuff tonight very soon. All right. All right. RY wants me to do Elon Musk announcing the plan to build a dome stadium on the moon. Says the 49ers will play there. So I've got some quite exciting news for humanity. We're going to be building the first ever lunar stadium on the moon. Slight change of plans. We're not going to go to Mars. We're going back to the moon. And after this first successful mission where they fly by and return home, we're then going to begin plans to start bringing over pieces essentially to build the first ever lunar stadium. And there's plans to have the first ever game played in the Lunar Stadium, San Francisco 49ers versus the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a great day for humanity. Humanity. And Roseanne's pissed. Okay.
You know, I'm kind of pissed off that these fucking commies think they can just go litter on the moon. You know, maybe you should leave the moon alone, you know. Nobody ever wanted fucking football on the moon to begin with. I think the whole idea is actually pretty fucking stupid. It's something that a commie would come up with. And that's one of the reasons why President Trump kicked this fucking commie out of the White House.
I am actually very happy. I am one of the happiest people to hear the news that they are going to build a lunar stadium on the moon. This is one of the life-changing achievements. This is one of the greatest things I have ever heard. I'm going to get a front row seat to the lunar stadium on the moon, my friend. Holy shit. All right, there you go. Those are going out to RY before the show even started. He said after the announcement of the Moon Space Dome Stadium, Trump and Elon become best friends again. And they even agree that the 49ers are the best team. All right, so we got 3 super chats in a row coming from RY to get us started. He says he wants me to do Trump and Elon becoming best buds again. All right. So after hearing this wonderful news that Elon's going to be pitching in with his own money to help build the first ever lunar stadium, this coincides with my plan with Space Force and everything I've done to get man back to the moon. So as you know, we've created a lot of excitement getting men back to the moon, and now even more excitement with Elon's announcement that they're going to be building the first ever lunar stadium. It's going to be a wonderful achievement for all of mankind. I'd like to welcome Elon back to the White House to be my personal BFF again. Elon, please bring the Tesla Cybertruck back on by. We miss the Tesla Cybertruck. I miss hanging out with you inside the Tesla. I miss you and me hanging out together like old buds. So please come on back. Let's be BFFs again. I promise me and you will never ever have another spat like we did last time. All right, there you go. Trump and Elon Musk becoming best friends again. And then I got a super chat coming in from Kreger. It says, Jake, thanks for the vampire shape-shifting Muppet vid. Loved it. Yes, the members only get to see the fittest flat earther parody that I did, where I show definitive proof that Elmo is Grover. And of course, if you're not a member, there is still a way you can watch that video for free. You just have to go watch my last live stream, and it's at the beginning of the live stream. So everyone can see it. But if you want to access it quickly without having to go to my last live stream, it is available for members. So yeah, glad you enjoyed it. I might have to do some more parodies like that in the future. It seemed like enough people enjoyed it that it might be worth my while to make a whole series out of fittest flat earther parody videos. But tonight we're not going to be covering that asshole. Sunflower coming in with a donation says she wants Richie from Boston and Trump talking about the clogged Artemis toilet. So I'm actually going to be showing videos of the Artemis toilet troubles tonight. So glad you brought that up. That's actually something we're going to be discussing tonight. But let me go ahead and knock this one out for you.
So I don't know if you've heard, but there's already a little trouble, a little toiletry trouble, if you will, on the Artemis spaceship. I just received word from Trump that there may be some sort of issue with the suction system. Basically, what it means is the toilet is not able to suck the turds out of their ass effectively. And so this is becoming quite an issue, as you might imagine. This is a very small space capsule, so any issues with number 2 would be very, very stinky. All right, it's definitely causing a stinky situation.
That's right. So one of the things that we were able to do, we were able to address this situation quickly. Nobody addresses stinky situations quite like me. In fact, I'm the best at addressing these issues. So we were quickly able to identify the problem, and we were able to get it sorted out. There no longer is any issue with the toilet aboard the Artemis 2 spacecraft. They're actually making their way to the moon right now, and we look forward to seeing pictures of what they bring back very soon. There you go. Getting us started with some super chat love tonight, you guys. Had RY coming in with some very challenging requests, wanting me to do like 5 people in one. We got Sunflower coming in with a nice and easy Richie from Boston and Trump request. All right. Pirate Justin says, I'm impressed NASA keeps the grift going so long. Hey, well, you know what? There's a whole lot of ignorant sheeple who believe this, and they think that we're all the crazy idiot flat earthers. And so there's plenty of sheep out there that still believe basically everything that the TV says. And when it comes to this launch, I heard that they interrupted some TV programming and they showed it at schools. So from what I hear, they went through the steps similar of what they did in the late 60s, early 70s. They went through a lot of the brainwashing steps of making sure everyone took notice of this and trying to make it like as big of a deal as possible. Except this time, once people figure out they're not actually landing, it's kind of hard to like be too excited about it, even if you do believe in it. Like, even if you're a sheeple, how excited are you going to get over people going around the moon and coming back, right? Like, you know, they're not going to get out and walk around. They're not going to ride a dune buggy. They ain't going to fucking play golf, right? So once you know that they're not going to even attempt to fake the landing part, that they're just going to do a flyby, then you know all we're going to get is just some lame images of the moon up close, right? So they got, you know, really good cameras here on Earth and really nice big ass telescopes, and they can get these really nice shots of the moon and just fucking zoom in and be like, this is from the Artemis 2 spacecraft. Look how close up it is, right? So we already know they can just take a quality picture of the moon from here on Earth and then just fucking show that to us like really close and be like, this one's from Artemis. Right? So expect that what we're going to see next is just a highly detailed, really close-up picture of the moon that came from some people here on Earth. All right. And you know what? There's millions of people still buying it, still drinking the Kool-Aid, and they like to gaslight the fuck out of us, those of us who know that it's fake, right? So they know that a lot of us know that it's fake as fuck. And they enjoy gaslighting us. That's why they don't put that much effort into it. They know that the sheeple who believe it are stupid enough that they don't need to put that much effort into it. And they know that we're going to know it's fake either way. Even if they do their best, we're still going to point at it and say it's fake. So they're like, why bother putting that much effort even into this, right? Doxological Thinker with a donation says, did you know they had to launch the rocket on April Fools because of all the helium? Keep up the good work, Jake. Yeah, I've heard that there's a helium shortage because NASA buys up all the helium and they fill up their rockets with helium. Yeah, I've heard that, you know, and I've never personally went and took a sample out of any of their rockets, you know. And so I can't verify that, but it wouldn't shock me if they had, you know, essentially like a giant air balloon, you know, like rocket, let's say, and the fire is just for show. So I've often wondered if it's like a giant hot air balloon, essentially rocket shaped hot air balloon. And then the fire is for show because you never see it go, right? But if you launch a model rocket that you get at a hobby store, it's like, and it's gone from your sight within seconds, right? Like you, and it's gone. And so they say that the NASA rocket is going faster than your hobby rocket, right? By a lot. And so it's funny when you see it on TV, it's like, it like leaves the launch pad very, very slowly. And their excuse is, oh, it's because it's so big, it appears to be moving so slow. And your model rocket's so small, it just appears to be moving so fast. They want you to believe that the NASA rocket is going off that launch pad like a bullet leaving a gun. And it's clearly not. But they say it is. And thank you for the super chat. And glad you guys could make it here tonight. Glad to see a lot of my regulars showing up tonight. All right. I think I got one or two more, and then we'll kick off the Artemis 2 footage. We'll spend most of the entire stream just kicking NASA in the balls tonight. Kevin says, fittest flat earther and Jurassic liars debating if Ralphie is not a dog, but a shape-shifting reptile who lives 200 years and spies on Jake. So when you figure out that the Earth is not real and that it's scripted, then you have to realize that the Heavenly Father, he's the one who's really in charge. And that's why he's guiding me to this truth that Jake's dog, Ralphie.
He's a fallen angel.
I clearly matched up this image of the demonic god Nibiru, and I showed definite proof that this freckle on Jake's dog's face and this freckle on the shape-shifting god Nibiru,
they're the same shapeshifter. They're vampires.
this is clearly proof that you can hang your hat on. Not only that, they live up to like 200 years old. So just because Jake's dog might only live like 15 years, just remember shapeshifters live closer to 200 years. And this guy's a liar. This guy, he stole all my information. I'm actually the one who came up with that. So he stole my idea that Trump is Elvis Presley. And now he's stealing my idea that Jake's dog is a shape-shifting reptile. Now, just because I got my prediction wrong last year that Seattle was going to get attacked on 6/11, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen this next year. It's definitely this next year Seattle's going to be attacked on 6/11. And if it doesn't happen next year, then it's going to happen on the year after. And if you don't agree with that, then you're going to go to hell. If you don't agree with everything I'm saying, then you don't agree with the Bible and you're going to hell. There you go. That's definitely what an argument between those two would sound like. RY says, a fittest flat earther threatens Beavis's life. The great Cornholio, he responds, are you threatening me? So the other day, I had some more family over, and I hadn't seen them in a while, and I unfortunately partook in some more alcoholic beverages, and I said some things that I shouldn't have said, but I realized by apologizing to you guys, I'm actually doing the right thing, and so it's actually making me stronger that I got drunk last night and said some things I shouldn't have said.
I am the great Cornholio. You will give me apology, or you will give me tippy, or you will suffer the consequence of the great Cornholio. You will give Cornholio apology, or you will give me tippy. Are you threatening me?
There you go. Whew. Man. Working for a living tonight. Putting in some effort. All right. I think we're almost through the super chats, and we're going to officially start the show soon. I can feel it. We're going to start the show soon and start talking about Artemis. I promise. Drain Master says, still will always awk with you and the channel. Love your work, bro. You'll awk with me? I'll stop the world and awk with you. You've seen the difference and it's getting better all the time. I'll stop the world and awk with you. Thanks, bro. I awk with you too, bro. Hey, if you guys awk with me, hit the awking thumbs up right now, mother awker. Yeah, boy. I'm a awk with you. You awk with me. We mother awkin all agree. It's hit the thumbs up time right now. Hell yeah. First shizzo. All right. RY wants fittest flat earther, suggesting that the Borat character is played by Ali G. So I recently came to the conclusion that since I figured out that the Earth is most definitely a scripted realm run by fallen angels, then it's really easy to see that this character is definitely this character. You can see right here on the lower lip, he's got the same freckle as this guy right here. And then there's a faint scar over here. And it clearly matches up with the faint scar over here. Yeah, sure, I know what you're thinking. That's not enough. But if you look closer, these eyes, if you see the symmetry, it's a perfect match.
And I'd just like to apologize again for getting drunk last night, because it makes me stronger when I apologize to you guys.
All right, I forgot to. I think I just said this guy, and I think I forgot to say Borat and Ali G. But you knew who I was talking about. You knew who I was talking about. All right, Joginus says, shape-shifting archons just getting here. Was up? Oh yes, all my shape-shifting archons are in the house tonight. That's right. We're bloody surrounded by shape-shifting archons like Jake the asshole, fittest flat earther. They're shape-shifting archons, I tell you. They're bloody moldy rollers. All right. Speaking of what's up, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and kick this party off right here, right now?
What's up?
Up. Whew. There you go. I haven't done one in a while, so I felt like it was about time I did do one. So there it is. The best was up that you ever done saw since the last time you done saw me do a was up. And nobody, I mean nobody, does a was up like me. That's like one of my calling cards, one of my signatures of my channel, is that I do that. Some people are like, that's dumb. That's why I get so many requests to keep doing it, right? All right. Did I read all the super chats or did I miss any? I think I read them all. I think that means we can actually get started. Yep, I did. I read them all. Holy cow. We made it, you guys. We made it to the beginning of the show. Whew. All right. Whew. All right, guys. Let's have some fun. You know, we started this channel kicking NASA in the balls, and here we are a decade later, still kicking NASA in the balls. And tonight, got a moon mission for you. We got some images of Earth, new images of Earth to look at. Going to be an exciting stream. We're going to kick it off with the mainstream news report about these images, and then we're going to take our own close look at these images. All right. So here we go. Let's boogie.
Breathtaking.
This is Artemis 2 time, and I remain transfixed by this story. Thanks to Artemis 2 and its crew, we are already getting to see, there you see one of them right there, stunning brand new images from their voyage. NASA released these photos of Earth alongside a video update from on board the spacecraft. Here's NASA astronaut Christina Cook.
All right, so you guys probably have seen on social media, this is the new blue marble 3.0 essentially that they're showing us now. But they're claiming this is a authentic picture of Earth from space on the way to the moon, taken by crew members on the Artemis 2 rocket, right? So we're going to take a closer look at this image and a few others, and we'll compare and contrast. But we'll just see what they say so that we get their account of this bullshit before we start digging into it.
There's nothing that prepares you for the breathtaking aspect of seeing your home planet both lit up bright as day, and also the moon glow on it at night with a beautiful beam of the sunset, and knowing that we're going to get similar views of the moon. I'm really excited for that.
Wow, you guys check it out. This is how big their little capsule is. This guy right here has got to lay tucked up here. And they say that this is it, man. So every time they show these people inside the capsule here, it just looks really claustrophobic. So if you're a person that suffers from claustrophobia or whatever, this might make you just uncomfortable looking at. But imagine you got to spend 10 days cooped up like this, right? And risk your life. And all you're going to get to do is just see the moon kind of close. That's it. You're just going to get to look out the window at the moon and see it really close. That's it. And that's of course, if you believe their story.
As are we all. Senior national correspondent for CBS News, Mark Strassman, joins me now from Johnson Space Center in Houston. Mark, catch us up on what we've learned today.
Was transfixing, wasn't it, Major? I mean, those pictures are just stunning. And remember that human eyes haven't had that perspective in more than a half century now. If you think about...
Yeah, you guys, they aren't saying that it's Photoshopped because it has to be. They're saying that this is the real deal. And apparently this is stunning to some people. I did see people on social media like, wow, it's our beautiful home. Look at our beautiful, majestic, wonderful majesty known as Mother Earth, right? So there were people getting all sentimental just upon seeing this, right? So they've told us in the past that certain images are Photoshopped because they have to be, but they're pushing this one off like it's straight up a photo taken from the crew, just sent back to Earth. So we'll take a closer look here and I'll show you what I don't like about this photo in a minute.
That one picture of the entire Earth, that one, it's like a group shot of all of us, right, except for the 4 people who are now making their way to the moon, right? I mean, there's leaving humanity behind.
I didn't have my smile going. I should work on that next time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And so, look, it's been another great day where this is officially the 3rd day now of this mission, and the crew got up a couple hours ago and are doing their thing. There's sort of a series of, more minor systems checks that they have to go through today, the medical kit and the pressurized suits and so on. But the big objective, obviously, is coming in the days ahead when they finally do get to the moon. And I asked NASA today again to sort of explain to folks who just started following this moonshot. I mean, why?
Here's the funniest part. They have to go around the moon, they have to go around the Earth and slingshot around and then go around the moon and come back. They can't just take off and just go, right? And then come back. No. They have to do this slingshot around, escape Earth's gravity, slingshotty loopity-doo bullshit in order to make it out of the Earth's gravity so they can get around the moon. And slingshot around the moon and come back. It's funny. Yeah, that's definitely the way you got to do it. You can't do it any other way. This is how they explain when the rocket takes off. This is how they can use this excuse that when you see the rocket take off and go sideways and start to come back down, they can be like, oh, it's so it can achieve escape velocity. It needs to be able to get fast enough so it can escape the Earth's atmosphere. So when you see it going down, it's actually slingshotting around the Earth so that it can escape, right? So NASA fanboys have a excuse for everything, and their excuses are fucking ridiculous. So I know whatever I show tonight, whatever inconsistencies I point out, there's always a NASA fanboy who will be ready to give the excuse that they looked up on Google or on the NASA website that they read, right? So I know NASA comes up with an excuse for everything. So all the inconsistencies that we point out, expect there to be a globe cuck nearby who will shit out some sort of excuse on behalf of the government, NASA, right? Lintaway Air Duct Cleaning says, live on a Saturday. Woohoo! Woohoo! Got my AJ, but AJ BoJ. Wasn't easy, but nothing Woohoo! There you go. Sorry, had to do it. Lintaway, best damn air duct cleaning service this side of the Mississippi. And no, he didn't pay me to say that. Or did he? All right. Let's get back on track.
Why are we going back anyway? I want to just sort of scoot ahead to Monday's milestone, the lunar flyby. Why does it matter? What do you hope to get out of it?
Yeah, why does it matter? We already went. I like how we say we. We already went to the moon. So why is it important that we go back again? Yeah, we already walked on the moon. So how come this time we're supposed to care that we're just going to get close and then fly back? Why does it matter to we?
So it matters because, you know, the whole point is to go back to the moon. The whole point of this mission is a campaign to get back to the moon.
Well, it matters, of course, because, because the whole point is to go back to the moon. Oh, that's why it matters. I love the way he went into this. Like, why does it matter? Well, because, because the whole point is because we want to go back to the moon, of course.
And the being able to see with human eyes the lunar surface is a huge milestone, right?
You can see the lunar surface from here on Earth without risking anyone's life with your really powerful telescopes. So again, why?
And that just articulates the point, that we're going back to the moon.
Okay, and your proportions are a little off here because now this little speck on screen is supposedly the moon. Aren't you guys supposed to be a lot closer to the moon now since you left Earth and you're headed that way? Shouldn't you already have nice shots of the moon? That seems like it got farther away since you left Earth, but whatever. I guess it's the camera angle and the aperture, right? So if you ask a NASA fanboy, how come the moon looks like it's even smaller now that they should be closer? They'll be like, it's the camera angle, the aperture of the camera and the angle and the lighting. We're
going to stay there.
Major, I read an interesting little fun fact this week that 3 of the 4 people on planet Earth alive today were born after the last Apollo mission. That was Apollo 17 in 1972. So for all of those folks, for the vast majority of the planet, this is a new experience. This isn't.
You guys catch that? So most of the people who were brainwashed by the last moon landing, yeah, a lot of them are dead. And now there's a lot of new people who've been born since that don't recollect any of that and don't ever look into it because they weren't born when it happened. So since those people didn't get effectively brainwashed, we got to do it again to brainwash all you fucking new sheeple that have been born since. One more time.
Articulates the point, that we're going back to the moon. We're going to stay there.
You know, Major, I read an interesting little fun fact this week that 3 of the 4 people on planet Earth alive today were born after the last Apollo mission. That was Apollo 17 in 1972. So for all of those folks, for the vast majority of the planet, this is a new experience. This
See? So for all of you who didn't get brainwashed back then, this is your brainwashing now. You believe it, right? Of course you do. You don't want people to think you're one of those crazy flat earthers. They've put people in a position where they're like, I don't really believe this, but I don't want to be lumped in with those crazy flat earthers. I might lose my job and my friends and my social circle and my family if they think I'm a fucking crazy flat earther. So I'm going to pretend like I believe this shit, but deep down, I don't know about all this, right? So there's more people pointing out that the space missions are fake, more now than ever before, but there's still a ton of sheeple. We can't forget that there's still millions and millions, tens of millions of sheeple, more so than people who are awake to the space fakery. So they keep putting on this charade for them people while they gaslight the living shit out of you and I. Big Money Bob coming in with some Jake the Awake gifted memberships. Thank you, homie. I appreciate you giving away the gift of Jake the Awake. Thanks, Big Money Bob. You're doing the Lord's work. If you get a gifted membership from Big Money Bob, give him a big thank you.
This isn't just nostalgia anymore. This is something brand new. And so for all of those folks who see images like this for the first time, probably just as transfixed, to use your word, as you have been by those pictures and by this mission. I mean, just think of the images that we're going to see in the coming days.
Mark Strassman, appreciate it very much, sir. Good to have you with us.
All right. So there's your mainstream news report that a lot of sheeple will have probably seen something similar to that. So the reason I showed that is your common senior citizen, older person, common TV watcher will see some form of that right there. You know, a few clips, a few still shots, bada bing, bada boom. Then they move on to the next topic. So CBS, NBC, they're all showing and saying the same shit. They're all reading the same script. So that's what your common everyday sheeple is going to see. And that's going to be like the extent of their knowledge on the subject is that shit right there. How many of them are going to take an extra step and analyze those pictures a little closer, right? So some people, like myself, you know, I'll take those images, I'll go look them up, pull them right off their website, off the NASA website, so nobody thinks that I've edited those photos or messed with them or whatever. I'll go take their photos, take a look at them, and that's what I thought we'd do tonight. We're going to take a look at the 3 different images of Earth that were supposedly taken by the Artemis crew. So we're going to get to that coming up next. RY says Trump announces that lint away air duct cleaning will be hired to maintain the new 49ers LUNAR Stadium and save billions and billions of dollars. All right. So I'm very happy to announce that the LUNAR Stadium is already in the process of being built. There are already pieces heading to the moon right now. It's very exciting. So we've taken the next step and we've hired the man who's going to be managing the lint systems, the lint removal, if you will, from the duct systems in the LUNAR Stadium. None other than Lint Away Air Duct Cleaning Services. This guy does the best job. He does all of our air duct cleaning service here in the White House. All right. Nobody does air duct cleaning like air duct cleaning, Lint Away Air Duct Cleaning Services. And so that's why we've put him in charge of maintaining the ventilator system that we're going to be running all throughout the system. There's a lot of moon dust, a whole lot of moon dust. So we're going to need the best. All right, I'm starting to lose it. There you go. We're going to make billions and billions and billions and billions. All right, I started to lose it. I was trying to figure out how I'm going to keep going with that one. It started to fall apart. All right. These are silly requests. Why? Why do you always have to make me do such silly shit? Cowboy says, have you ever questioned why we can see stars from Earth, even under city lights, but you see none in space, or at least from Google Images? So I'm going to get into that here very soon when I show these different images of Earth. So sometimes they include the stars and sometimes they don't. And then the Apollo crew that landed on the moon in '69, they claim they didn't see any stars while they were in space. And so it's funny how NASA can pick and choose when they want to show stars and when they don't. So I'm going to show you examples of them showing stars in the new images of Earth and examples of them not showing stars. So I'm going to show you both. That's coming up soon. And yeah, I don't believe that you can pop out into outer space and start floating around and then suddenly you can't see stars. Like thinking that you can see stars here on Earth, but then you get to outer space and then you pop out, start floating around, and then suddenly there's no more stars. Yeah, I'm not buying into outer space at all to begin with. So, you know, whether they want to show the stars or whether they don't, it comes down to their personal preference, it seems. Sometimes they show them, sometimes they don't. And they've got a built-in excuse for when they don't. Shady Davy D coming in with a super chat says 600 plus in the chat. Please hit the like button and subscribe for the #1 truther channel, Jake the Awake. Shout out to live chat peeps here. Oh, thank you very much, Shady. I appreciate the super chat, and I agree. All you people should hit the thumbs up. I'm going to get into the images that they supposedly sent back from the Artemis rocket coming up very soon. You're not going to want to miss it. Hit the thumbs up. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. All right. Thank you, Davey. All right. I think I got through all my super chats. So let me show you a video I saw from a channel called Level Earth Observer. He spotted what looked like might be some sort of escape cart that may have left the rocket upon takeoff. So I didn't spot this when we first watched the rocket taking off, but they had a bunch of cutaways. And so I went back and checked the official footage, and it definitely does show something. So we'll take a look at what Leo saw, and we'll talk more about this, and then we'll move on to the images of Earth.
See if you can spot it. Artemis 2 launch from the other day, April Fool's Day. So let's have a look.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, RS 25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Did you spot it? Let's just come back. They launched on April Fool's Day. And you can see in the background there's a cable car descending from the tower.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2.
Here, you can see it directly behind the tower at this point in time. Might be 2 cable cars. Watch.
Now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
And again.
Liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
Okay, so the question is, what really is that? And are they showing that to us on purpose so that we make assumptions? So Leo pointed this out, Level Earth Observer channel, and I looked on the original rocket launch stream, and it's there. And I can't say for sure what it is that we're looking at there. I'm not going to go as far as to assume that the crew escaped on that, because why would they even put the crew on there for real? Like why even have an escape cart if you can just not have the crew get on there anyway? You know what I mean? The whole thing's fucking phony, right? So you don't need to have the crew escape on an escape car, but it was something that I thought that I would show you guys because I see other people bringing it up. So I thought I would address it and say that it makes more sense that the crew was never on there to begin with. So I'm not going to assume that this is some sort of proof that the crew escaped on this cable cart. So this is like possibly evidence, but I'm not going to hang my hat on just like something like this. But it is worth noting, worth taking a look at.
Humanity's next great voyage begins.
And once more coming back out.
And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Now, from what I've seen regarding Artemis 2 so far, has been terrible. I would have thought they were going to go overboard to try and prove this. If it was really happening, really sell it, because the amount of people who are now calling out NASA and doubting them, rightly so. But it seems to be the exact opposite from that. Launching on April Fool's Day, terrible photography stuff that's been cited so far, and footage. Remember, they launched on April Fool's Day. And just as the rocket takes off, there's a cable car descending from the tower.
Now bound for the moon, humanity's next great voyage begins.
Just seems like all a big joke.
All right. So I thought we'd kick it off with that. And like I said, there isn't enough there to make a conclusion that like the crew escaped on that or whatever. So we're just taking a look at the footage, analyzing what we see. And so I thought it was at least worth a look. So there you go. Reality Witness says, do a bit with Trump talking about Trump plumbing will repair the Artemis toilets. And he says we're number one in the number two business. So I got to tell you, when I originally heard that there was a problem aboard Artemis with the toiletry system, I immediately kicked into gear and I got the problem solved as quickly as possible. When it comes to number two, you definitely don't want to mess around. It's a very tiny capsule. All right, they're crammed in there like sardines as it is. And so you can imagine a problem with the toiletry is definitely a stinky situation. So I handled this stinky situation way faster than Joe Biden or Obama would have ever handled this situation. In fact, I heard Creepy Joe used to have a lot of sticky situations in his pants, but that's a different story for another day. I want to let everyone at home know we are number one in the number two business, if you catch my drift. And that's why we were able to get rid of this stinky situation within the Artemis 2 capsule. And that's why we are going to be at the forefront of space travel, not only now, but in the future as well. All right. There you go. All right. Trump plumbing, getting that handled as quick as possible. Globetard Gullible says, I ordered a t-shirt. What's the time frame for ship? So that company, Teespring, got bought out and now they're owned by some Chinese company. And the delivery times sometimes take like a month or longer. So this one that I have on, I had to order a new one for myself because all my old ones, got worn out and got holes in it. So I ordered a new one and it took over a month for me to get the shirt. So it's a drop shipping company. All they do is take my design and put it on the shirt and then they ship it. I don't own a shirt press. I don't handle the merchandise or the product at all. So it's drop shipping, and it used to be good. They used to be pretty good about getting the merchandise out in like 2 or 3 weeks, but now it takes usually over a month. So if it takes longer than like a month and a half, email them and hopefully they'll get back to you and they'll tell you that it's coming, and then you wait longer and then it eventually comes. So yeah, the drop shipping company used to be a lot better, but like everything, it got bought out and then went to shit. So I guess I need to go find a different t-shirt company. Not a good promotion for my t-shirts. Oh, by the way, if you guys want one of these and you want to wait over a month, you can order one down below. Yeah, there it is. The Lunar Module homeless tweaker shelter shirt being printed at a Chinese sweatshop not near you. All right. And sorry for the long wait. It makes me think I should get into the t-shirt printing business myself and just make all my own t-shirts and products. I might have to do that in the future. Just start making my own shit. Then it would maybe give me motivation to come up with some more designs. All right. Next super chat coming in from Russ38 says, I never really get a chance to see your live streams live from Australia. Today I woke up and saw your live stream and I'm like, heck yeah. So I'm going to take the opportunity and leave my first super chat. Awesome. Well, let me be the first to say, good day, mate. Let's go on a walkabout. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Shape-shifting Orcorn. Jake the White. Bloody moldy roller. There you go. I'm speaking your native tongue so that you feel more comfortable. I know if I just talk like this, you might not understand exactly what I'm saying. So that's why I thought I'd take this time to speak in your native tongue, mate. So therefore, there's no misunderstanding about the words coming out of my face. There you go. I know that that's how all Australian people sound, and so therefore I know that that definitely makes you feel more comfortable hearing me speak that way. I think I just offended everyone in Australia with that bit. It's a comedy bit. I don't really feel that way about people in Australia, okay? I was purposely being an asshole to people in Australia for the sake of comedy. All right. That's awesome to know that there's people upside down on the other side of the earth listening to me right now and watching me while they're upside down. Man, that's crazy. If you believe in a globe, then you have to believe that that guy who just sent me a super chat is standing upside down. No, Jake, if you believe in a globe, then there is no upside down, and everyone is always right side up according to their own perspective. There's no such thing as upside down on a globe, stupid, right? See, they got a fucking dumb excuse for everything. The globe believers. You make fun of them and say, ha ha, you believe in people standing upside down. Ha ha. They go, there's no such thing as upside down on a globe, silly. Right? Got their built-in excuse to save their ass. All right. RY says, Shia, you want to order a Caddy Daddy t-shirt? Shia, right now, business isn't going so good. Yeah, I had to delete several videos. I don't know if you guys noticed, but since Nestor's been gone, the views have been going down. I put out some videos that people didn't like. Shia, I was ashamed by the view counts. So I started deleting videos. Shia, wow. Crazy, right? Take a hit, metaphorically speaking. Have you noticed old Jack Morgan starting to delete his videos that don't do good? or hide them like by making them unlisted. I noticed. All right. Okay, so check it out, guys. We're going to take a look at the images coming out of Artemis. We're going to do our own analyzing, and I'm going to need your guys' help on this one. I need you guys to analyze these photos that come from Artemis, supposedly, of the Earth, and we're going to take a look together. There it is. And this is a high resolution shot, as best as I could find from the official source.
Whoa. So, like, that's where we live?
Yeah, dumbass. We live on like a flying space ball or something. I saw it on MTV News.
No way. That's crazy. I always thought that, like, the Earth was, like, flat.
Beavis, you're a stupid monkey spanker. We were told in school that the Earth isn't flat. That was like the one time I paid attention because, like, I knew it was like important information or something.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. You're pretty smart, butthead.
Yeah, I know. That's why I get all the chicks. And you're always staying home spanking your monkey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Beavis and Butthead in space. Fuck. I forgot to... I started going into a Beavis and Butthead talking about space, and I forgot to make them floating around. My bad. I was supposed to make Beavis and Butthead float around. Right?
Whoa. Butthead. This is crazy.
This is the coolest thing that we've ever done, Beavis.
I know. Whoa. Look out the window.
Yeah, that's like the most beautiful picture of Earth I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is like almost as cool as that time I had a dream about scoring with a chick.
Yeah. One day, Beavis, we shall score with a chick, and it's going to be almost as cool as this.
Yeah, one day we're going to score. We're going to score. Yeah. Hey, Butthead, I wonder if we can get some chicks up here.
Yeah. Maybe we can get those chicks all hot and horny if we're in space. And then maybe we can get them to take their thingies out in zero gravity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
There you go. Beavis and Butthead in space. I almost shortchanged you by having Beavis and Butthead just talk about space. There you go. Beavis and Butthead in space. Russell Brand, the first to float around and broadcast from the Lunar Stadium before they activate gravity system. So I'm here aboard the International Space Station, and I can clearly see they are beginning to build what looks like a lunar stadium on the moon. And this, of course, is going to house one of those American football teams. I, of course, don't watch American football. I, of course, enjoy football. And, of course, I want to ask you, before the lunar stadium, before they activate gravity, what I want to know is there a piece of hay stuck within the crevices of my horse teeth? Once they activate gravity, I will no longer be able to finger fuck a piece of hay out of my teeth and have it float across the International Space Station capsule. What the fuck is he even talking about? I don't even know what Russell Brand's even talking about there. All right, Russell Brand at the the Lunar Stadium. Oh, you guys are silly tonight. You silly guys. All right, let's get serious. Whew, got to get serious. We're never going to get through this stream if we don't get serious. RY says on Paramount Plus there is a Beavis and Butthead space movie. I saw that and it made me cringe and I didn't watch it. just seeing the look of it on the thumbnail, I was like, nope. They already ruined Beavis and Butthead. All the new Beavis and Butthead stuff, like I can't bear to watch it. It's like whenever they try and reboot something old, it's never as good and it always seems desperate, right? Like they're desperate to get you to watch this thing that used to be good a long time ago. And so they can't really recreate, in my opinion, that classic Beavis and Butthead magic because it ain't the 90s anymore, right? Like everything's different now. So to see Beavis and Butthead as adult characters drinking beer and smoking weed and just sitting around their apartment, it doesn't hit for me, you know? All right, so definitely not going to be watching that movie. I'm going to save my time and energy and do something constructive.
Like pretend to be Beavis and Butthead while I'm live streaming.
Yeah, we're going to do something like constructive with our like time or something. All right. So check it out. Let's go ahead and look at this image of Earth right here. And let me ask you guys an important question. What is lighting up the Earth in this picture? Yeah. We're looking at supposedly a piece of Africa there. And they say this is the Earth upside down. It's funny, they tell us there's no upside down, but they claim this is the Earth upside down. And do you guys know how it's being lit up? They claim that this is the dark side of the moon and that it's being lit up not by the sun, but by the moon. So apparently, we're looking at the dark side of Earth. We're looking at the side that's supposed to be dark right now, but it's not dark. So people are wondering, like, okay, is it lit up by the sun? They claim the sun is behind the Earth and that this is the dark side of Earth, but it's being lit up by the moon. So apparently now there is no darkness on Earth. It's light everywhere 24 hours a day, apparently, because the moonlight appears to be almost as bright as daylight in this image. And the other side is lit up by sunlight. So therefore, in this image, what they're showing us is nowhere on Earth is it dark. That's what they're showing us. If this is the dark side of Earth, and it's that lit up, that's not really dark. That's as lit up as it is in other pictures that are supposedly lit by the sun. And they claim that the sun's on the other side of the Earth, that the Earth is eclipsed the sun. So apparently now there is no darkness on the Earth, you guys. This came from them. This came from NASA Artemis. But here's also what came from Artemis. This. So this one comes from Artemis and shows a Terminator line in pitch black darkness on this side. However, this is supposed to be the dark side of Earth lit up by moonlight. But this is the Earth lit up by sunlight and then a dark side of the moon that's definitely not lit up by moonlight. So how come this side of the Earth is pitch black in this photo? Can't see a damn thing. But in this photo, the dark side of the moon is lit up almost like it's daylight. It's like they can't make up their mind. In this model of the Earth, it's not dark anywhere. But in this one, half of it's dark. And I also want to point out in this image, they don't have any lights in the land masses down below. So you don't see any cities any city lights down below. And then here's the funny thing is they also show us this. This also came from Artemis. And in this shot, it's dark, but you can still see some clouds and you can see some lights that they claim are from the cities. So they claim these little specks are from lights from the cities down below. See these specks? So if you zoom in on this picture, you'll see like little tiny light spots. They claim those are lights from cities. But how come the moon isn't lighting up the dark side of Earth here? So they can't make up their mind whether it's kind of dark, pitch black on half, or not dark at all. How about that? So in this image, there is no such thing as darkness. They claim the other side's lit up and that this side's lit up by the moon. But in this image, half the Earth is completely gone. You can't see any detail of the Earth at all. Pitch freaking black. So how come the moon is not lighting up the dark side of the Earth here? And then, of course, to really muddy the waters, now you get the Earth in darkness with this little sliver of light in the back, meaning the other side is being lit up by the sun, but this side is dark, but we can still see the lights from the cities. How come the moonlight is not lighting up this side like it is in this picture? So what they've done here is they've given us 3 different models, essentially, right? With that are not consistent. They don't have consistency between those 3 shots, right? So is it dark or is it not dark? Is it moonlight or is it fucking pitch black, right? All right. What do you guys think? Eternal's Courage says, have they given any fake explanation for the giant wisp thing to the left of Earth in the first pic? Are you talking about this one right here that we're looking at? Are you talking about this right here? So they claim that this is the Aurora Borealis right here and up here. So they claim that you can see the aurora or no northern and southern lights, right? So they claim, yeah, these are the northern and southern lights. And they claim that this speck right here, they say is Venus. And you can also see stars, little specks they claim are stars. So in this image, the stars are visible. In this image, there's no stars. Nothing on the dark side of Earth is visible. And then on the last one, you can see this little dot here that they claim is Venus. And then a few tiny, tiny random specks, but not many stars. So it's like they did one showing little specks and stars, one not showing any stars, and then one showing a little bit of very faint stars. Assholes. They're assholes is what they are. RY wants me to do Goatis saying space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. And if okay, you want me to sing the Chili Peppers song in the style of Goatis. Space may be the final frontier, but it is made literally in a Hollywood basement. And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. And that is why he picked a name like Danny California. And this, of course, is because of Californication. And everybody knows that NASA is lying because what they do is they do this with duper's delight on their face. And then what they do is this. And then after they get done doing that, then of course they do it all over again. Man, of course, all of the sheep who believe in this are mentally ill. And that, of course, is why I listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers who like to sing about this sort of thing. And that is why my favorite song is where they talk about that space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Thanks for watching. There you go. That's what Gotis would say about that. Shady Davy D says, big crowd tonight. Push Jake to 100K subscribers. I don't think we're going to make it to 100K tonight, but it definitely feels good to pick up a few new subscribers anytime I can. So if you guys are having fun here tonight, we like to goof around here and there, but we're definitely taking this subject serious. So when you see me talking about the Earth not being a globe, I am being serious. And when you see me asking questions like what's lighting up the Earth right here, they're telling us it's moonlight. But meanwhile, there ain't no moonlight lighting up the dark side of the Earth here. And there ain't no moonlight lighting up the Earth here. So when I start pointing out the inconsistencies with what's going on, I'm definitely dead serious. I don't believe for a second that they ever landed on the moon. And I don't think they're going back anytime soon. I don't think that the moon is something that can be landed upon. And I think all of this is to keep people thinking that the moon is a solid object, that the moon is just a gray rock. And if they can get you to think that the moon is a physical object, a solid object, just a gray rock that mankind has already walked upon and dominated, then they control basically everything that you think in your mind. And they know that most all the knowledge you contain in your mind is horse shit. So that's why they keep up this charade, and they're still brainwashing the sheeple at home with these fake space missions, is because they know if they can get you to believe in a fundamental lie like outer space, space travel, exploring other planets and landing on moons and satellite imagery, if they can get you to believe in that, then they can dupe you 6 ways from Sunday on damn near any subject that they want. And they know that you're never, ever going to get close to the truth. In fact, they've got the sheeple trained like monkeys to reject the truth and consider anyone like myself or you guys crazy if we even suggest that they're faking this current moon landing or the last one. Whew, there you go. That was a big rant that I just went on there. Wendy GMA says, where's all the satellites? Exactly. The satellites are too small to be seen, right? So they want you to believe a box with wings without lights can sometimes be seen from here on Earth. So there's people that'll see a dot in the sky and they'll think that that's a satellite. But it's funny because they'll claim that there's no lights on these satellites and that they're like these box with wings. And so people will claim they see them from Earth, but we don't see the atmosphere around Earth like littered with satellites. You don't hear about space debris taking out satellites. You don't hear about the enemy countries stealing our satellites. It's kind of funny. And you know, the reason is there are no satellites in space, and NASA never went to the moon. There are no satellites in space. All the technology is here on Earth. And if anything goes wrong with any of the technology here on Earth, they can send a repairman over to repair it. So they can put a satellite above your head with a balloon, a satelloon, if you will. But for the most part, all of the major technology is going to be here on the ground. So they can attach a satellite dish to a balloon or a plane. But I would think that the bulk of all the technology is definitely here on the ground. RY says, Asmongold is dead serious about the moon. Have you guys seen this? I'm fucking dead serious. This is the most exciting thing that I've ever seen. We weren't alive on the last moon landing. So this is the most exciting thing that I've ever seen. Can you guys believe how beautiful this is? What the fuck? I'm actually literally like stunned. There you go. Asmongold's reaction. Asmongold. Or as I like to call him, Ass-Mongoloid. All right, Patriot Gains says, Jake, you have made so many haters. You're the one who started this flat earth shit. And the motherfucking thanks you get. I did not start any flat earth shit. I heard about the subject here on YouTube in 2015. And then in 2016, I made my first ever video with my phone in my living room because I wanted to talk about it. So back then, I used to watch guys like Eric Dubay, Math Powerland. And then I came to the realization that those guys are shills, that those guys are controlled opposition. And then I had to start figuring shit out for myself. And it's been a wild, wacky, bumpy ride trying to figure out what this realm is, while knowing that a lot of the people who I used to watch were all shills, and it was a controlled rollout. So I figured out that this flat earth thing, it's a controlled rollout by a bunch of actors and frauds and shills. And some of them have made it very obvious that that's what they are, like Jeranism, Dave Weiss, Mark Sargent, like some of the most obvious shills you could ever spot, like just a dead giveaway that they're working for the man, right? That they're getting a paycheck to lie on purpose. And so I'm essentially the only guy that talked about flat earth that wasn't part of the rollout. I was a real guy that came along, figured out that there was a controlled rollout. When I started pointing it out and calling out the shills, I lost a lot of subs, got thrown under the bus. They said that I was trying to ruin the flat earth community, blah, blah, blah. And then many, many years later, I was vindicated when a bunch of people figured out that I was right and that those guys are shills. When Jaron flip-flopped on the flat earth after going to Antarctica, and then he flip-flopped on the moon landing, I was vindicated in a lot of people's eyes that I pointed out that these guys were shills way back in 2017, lost a lot of subs, caught a shitload of flack for pointing it out. And then when Jaron flip-flopped just last year before, whenever it was, then it was like, see, I told you guys that there's actual government agents pretending to be fucking flat earthers. And it wasn't me just being a dick trying to cause drama for no good reason, right? So yeah, I definitely didn't start this talking about this subject first, and I've never tried to take credit for something like that at all. I came along and saw it here on YouTube and then started talking about it. So since I figured out that it was a controlled rollout, I've tried to do my best at figuring out what's going on in this realm without referring to any of the shills or using any of their information, which has been challenging. So instead, I had to ask some of my own subscribers to help me out with things like pointing a compass at the sun, and I had to look at where the sun's rising and where it's setting myself, and compare and contrast with what's being said, with what I'm actually seeing, with what's being documented. And so, yeah, it's been challenging to try and keep people up to date on what I've learned and who's a shill and who's not, and keep this whole thing going over the course of a decade. But here we are. Here we are. So thank you for being here. And to all my longtime subscribers who go back to the Flat Earth asshole days, I'm glad you guys are still here hanging out. And whenever you talk about the Earth not being a globe, it draws a certain amount of hate. There's men who are hired specifically to hate on the subject, specifically to bash anyone talking about this subject. So the government not only has people pretending to be flat earthers to make the subject seem stupid and corral anyone who's finding out about the subject, they also have globe defenders. I like to call them professional globe cucks, who just do nothing but bash flat earthers in every video. And so guys like Simon Dan, Fight the Fat Ass Craig, MC Toon, their whole job is just to make fun of flat earth nonstop every day. And so there's a lot of hatred and negativity that will come your way if you talk about this subject. So as enlightening as it's been to figure out that the earth is not a globe and that we were lied to about everything, there's also a high level of horse shit and hatred that you have to put up with if you're going to get into this subject the way I have and talk about it in public the way I have. RY says, can you rap? I started this flat earth shit. Can I rap? I started this flat earth shit. You mean like make up a whole song about starting this flat earth shit? Yeah, wiki. Yeah, I'm about to rap right now. Let me show you how I started all this flat earth shit. And if you don't believe me, you're a big fat bitch. I was the first one to say it's flat. So what the motherfuck do you think of that? I ain't really gay like Eric Dubé. I ain't a little... Fuck, I ran out of rhymes. That's as many rhymes as I could think of. That's what sucks about having to try and come up with a rap on the spot, is if you run out of rhymes, then you eat shit. So there you go. That's as much as you're going to get for that song. See, I never did claim to start the flat earth. There you go. The fact that that sucked so bad should be worth a few laughs. Yeah, that's right. I purposely made that so shitty so that it's funny. Yeah, that's it. Jaren salivates over that new Earth photo. You guys, I used to think that the Earth was flat, but I was wrong. I went to Antarctica. That's when I figured out the Earth is a globe. And anyone who still hasn't figured out that the Earth is a globe, you are retarded. Guys, this is the most beautiful picture I've ever seen of the Earth. Guys, we weren't alive, most of us, the last time they went to the moon. So the fact that we're going back now, and we get to see images like this, oh my God. Like I'm literally about to salivate. If you guys don't believe that the Earth is a globe after I went to Antarctica and sucked off Will Duffy, then you are retarded. You guys, I hung out with Micktoon in Antarctica. I smoked a bowl while looking at the 24-hour sun. That's how I know Earth is a globe. If you don't believe that, you need to go back to school. You are retarded. There you go. Jaren coming in. All right, another one from RY. He said, Jake, earlier I meant to do a Dr. Dre rap, but that was funny, dude. You're the best, man. Only YouTube channel worth watching. Yeah, you weren't specific. You just gave me like just like rap about this. I'm like, fuck. Now I have to come up with a whole rap song with a fucking sentence fragment. Shit. I should have used like Chat GPT to help me out or something, man. That's when I definitely could have used AI to help me out. So yeah, man, that rap song had no chance because because I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do a whole song with just that. So if you want me to do it again in the style of Dr. Dre, it's going to suck even worse. But thank you. I appreciate the multiple super chats tonight, buddy. You've sent so many damn super chats. I'm like running out of breath doing all these impressions. All right. Did I miss any super chats? I hope I got them all. Then we can keep the show going here and get to the next video. All right. Looks like we're caught up on super chats. Okay. So let's get to the next video. Apparently, the Artemis 2 crew is having some toilet troubles, as you guys heard earlier. That's not a made-up story. That's actually a fact that the Artemis 2 crew's having toilet troubles. So let's go ahead and hear about the toilet situation. But first, let's look at what the toilet looks like.
The crazy thing about the toilet is that even though it's in the floor, once you're in there, you don't have a clue. You have no idea whether you're in the floor or which way your head's facing or anything. So by the time you jump in there, you could be floor, ceiling, wall, doesn't matter. All right, we're gonna take a trip into the toilet here. Now, one interesting thing is, yes, it's in the floor, but bye guys, I got some business to take care of. See ya. Once we're in here, a couple things become important. You need handholds because you're just floating up all over the place. You need to keep yourself down on the toilet seat. Also, you can't tell which way is up. And finally, all of this wild orange foam is actually taped over insulation because our toilet is a little bit on the loud side. So you have to wear hearing protection when you're in here, but we're making that work. We're making that work. It's just another thing we have to coordinate with each other. All right, all clear. Open.
It just happens to have orange foam. All right. Orange. All right. So they make this video about the space toilet beforehand. And then, of course, they just so happen to have a problem with the space toilet. So they showed us the toilet, and then the toilet ends up having a problem. Oh, they did multiple videos about the toilet, actually.
Before Sally Ride became the first American woman in space in 1983, NASA engineers unfamiliar with menstruation suggested packing her 100 tampons for a 7-day mission. Other members of the agency eventually deemed the amount excessive and reduced the amount of menstrual products she took, with the story later becoming a funny anecdote. Today, the science...
What a funny anecdote that is. 100 tampons. Good one. Good one, NASA.
And tech behind using the restroom in space continues to evolve. CBS News senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve has a special look at the out-of-this-world facilities available to the crew.
I'm with Paul Bain. He oversees life support and crew systems on board the capsule. Well, I think one of the things everybody's wondering is, how does the bathroom work?
So the toilet in Orion is located in this bay here underneath the side hatch. And essentially, it works very similar principle to the shuttle toilet that we used to have on that vehicle. It works by a vacuum, pulls a suction against the crew member for urination and fecal matter. And essentially, that is how we remove the waste from the crew.
All right, so check it out. Homeboy with the pyramid here, the triangle on his shirt. He's talking about how the toilet sucks the shit and piss out of the astronaut's body. That's right. It's got a suction system because in a weightless environment, you know, if you squeeze a turd out of your ass, it's going to start floating around, floating away. So you need a way for the turd to not float around the capsule. And so what they came up with is a toilet that sucks the turds right out of your ass, sucks the piss right out of your pecker or poussey, whichever you prefer. There you go. That's right, you guys. Space toilets literally suck the number 1 and 2 right out of you.
Where does the waste go?
So we have a tank that will collect the urine, and we store that inside the vehicle for a little while, and then we vent it overboard. And then the fecal matter is actually collected in a can, and then they compress that down, put a cap on it. It has filters, so it doesn't smell. And we basically will end up bringing all that home with us.
Do they rock, paper?
They're going to bring the shit home with them. You compact it down with a filter so it doesn't smell, and then we just bring the compacted poo home with us. Of course.
For scissors for whose job that is?
I think they all they all take care of it because they have to. You know, you're all in it together.
What happens if the toilet stops working?
So they're talking about what happens if the toilet stops working, and then guess what? The toilet has a problem. So that's going to be one of the first problems that happens on this flight once they've taken off, is the toilet has an issue. So it's funny, they made these videos about the toilet and talked specifically about the suction system on the toilet, and then the toilet just so happens to be the first thing that has an issue. Like they have to inform everybody about this toilet because they know that's the first thing people are going to wonder, how they're taking a shit and piss while they're on there. So you show them that, and then of course you tell them, oh, we had a problem with the toilet. It wasn't sucking shit properly.
So we've actually talked about that a lot.
Because that would seem like a major problem.
It'd be an upsetting day, yes. And so we actually have gone through some scenarios on what do we do for that. So we created a special bag that the crew members can use to urinate into, and it allows it to drain the urine from the crew member, and then we can vent that bag overboard. The fecal matter, same principle, and you just go into the bag and collapse it up and put it into the can again.
Oh, you gotta love the bathroom business side of space. That's where you find all these wonderful tales of urine being recycled into drinking water, poo being vacuum sucked out of your ass and compacted into a compartment to be taken back to Earth. You gotta love their bathroom stories, right? The number 1 and number 2 situation has always been fascinating when they have to go into elaborate details and lies about how they're pissing and shitting up there where they definitely are not, right? So this is like the funniest part of the lie that they have to keep up with, because every sheeple, the first thing they wonder is how the number 1 and number 2 situation is taken care of. So they have to have this elaborate lie to answer those questions, because even a child will wonder how the bathroom situation is going to work. Allison says, Marlo. Oh, Marlo, your kitty cat. Is that a cat with a tinfoil hat? That's adorable. Marlo the cat said Ralphie needs a layup. Oh, Ralph. Guess what, Ralph? Ralph got a super chat from a kitty cat. Ralph, you got a super chat from a cat. Ralph. Ralphie, thanks you very much, Marlo. Now, Ralphie, every time he sees a cat, he wants to chase it, but he's never actually come in contact with a cat. And the reason is, I think that a big male cat would whoop his ass, would claw his eyes out. So every time he goes to chase a cat, and I have him on a leash, I stop him from doing it. He wants to go after him, but I'm afraid if he actually ever caught up to a big male cat who wants to stand his ground, that the cat would easily kick his ass. I don't think he's ready for the fight that a mean, tough male cat would bring. He'd find out real quick. All right, there you go. Ugh. There's Ralphie making an appearance. Thank you very much, Allison and Marlo. Get back. Wait, get back. You wait. I'll take you out in a little bit. All right. Hank the Mean Man says, Jake, I love you, man. No homo. Oh, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate all the love coming in tonight. We've had a ton of super chats come in, and we have a nice crowd tonight. And we had a good crowd for the last stream. And so seems like there's plenty of people interested in this subject of NASA faking another moon landing. So that's cool. Glad to see people showing up tonight and partaking in the live chat. All right. I got another one here from RY. He says, too bad they don't have a space bidet. Yeah, see, that wouldn't work too well, right? It would shoot little droplets of water everywhere, right? And of course, you know, the astronauts in kayfabe, they're probably relieving themselves sexually into the space sucker, right? Oh, yeah, I got to go use the bathroom again. Got to go use the old space sucker again, you know, just full of pee, right? Then you're going in there and having the space sucker suck you off. Yeah. We took Jake the Awake to space, and he spent the entire time in the space bathroom using the space sucker. Just kidding. Or am I? RY says, Mag says there is no Ralphie. All right, I'll have to bring Ralphie back for this one. Let me tell you something, people. There's no such thing as a Ralphie. It's an animatronic robot. Nobody ever seen a beagle that looked like that. It's clearly not a real beagle. It's just a dumb shit to fool the masses. I don't know what to tell you. If you people think that that's a real dog, then you need to wake your ass up right now. I'm going to hit you with the bam right now. You need to wake your ass up. It's some ignorant shit to fool the masses. It's not a real dog. It's an animatronic robomatoid. There you go. Are you an animatronic robomatoid, Ralph? Oh, good boy. There you go. I haven't watched a Mag video in a long time. His voice I can always remember, so I don't have to like keep watching him to keep his voice fresh in my mind. But I haven't watched a Mag video in forever. All right. So apparently the toilet situation is getting serious. That's like the first problem that they had after the rocket took off. So they told us about the toilet, and then of course had an issue. So let me show you that, and then I'll show you guys the interview with the crew. All right.
Wastewater every day. They were also talking about some wastewater dump, the Universal Waste Management System, or basically the space toilet on the Orion spacecraft, typically dumps that wastewater every day overboard. It's vented overboard, much like what happened during the space shuttle era. And we're currently about 2 days, 4 hours, and 51 minutes into the Artemis 2 mission. The Orion spacecraft carrying the 4 crew members who you currently see on your screen are about 134,000 miles away from Earth, and they have about 137,000 miles between them and the moon.
Jackie for the EMERCOM DFTO. I am ready for your go in instruction 76. I understand we might be pausing to address this issue. And regarding the smell, I just wanted to be sure you all were tracking the EGS notes of the kind of burning heater smell that was coming from toilet several times. It was never identified as a source, what it exactly was, but it was identified as a known smell. So that's one reason why when I smelled it earlier, I didn't report it. It was kind of a lighter odor than this time, though.
Copy all, Christina, and yeah, we'll discuss at least for a few minutes here before we continue on with the EMERCOM DFTO. And yep, we are getting the information about the pre-flight smell now, so thanks. Hey, we just wanted to follow up on 2 items. One is related to the hygiene bay odor that you reported earlier. The ground team do believe it may be related to the orange gasket material around the hygiene bay door. So perhaps it's related to, open and closes of the door or, different operational situations there. But you're welcome to continue to.
All right, guys. I looked back and I noticed a while ago I missed a couple super chats. This was one of them from RY. He said, I wasn't sure at first, Jake, but the Beavis and Butthead space movie was funny to me. Well, it might be okay for a few chuckles, but I could tell that, like, just looking at the premise of it, that, like, I'm probably not going to think it's funny because I'm an old school Beavis and Butthead fan. I was a kid when that show was on. Right. So it was like during those years where that type of humor appealed to me the most. So to go back now in my 40s and watch like a rebooted Beavis and Butthead go to space, it just doesn't sound that funny to me. So yeah, I don't know if I want to spend the hour and a half to go back and do that. And then I missed this one from RUS 38 or Russ 38. He said, I'm actually from Russia, living in Australia. So yeah, you could try Russian accent. Oh, so you're a Russian who lives in Australia. Oh, okay. I actually used to do a Russian rap. I used to do like a Russian accent and then rap a gangster rap song. And I haven't done that in a long time. So because I missed your super chat, hopefully you're still here watching. And because I did a rap song and sucked earlier, I'm going to try and make up for it by doing Russian gangsta rap. So then I dolly, I run through an alley. I bumped into this smoker named Sally from the valley. This was a beach playing hard to get. So I said, what is wrong? Because she looked upset. She said, it's all because of you. I'm feeling sad and blue. You went away, and now my life is filled with rainy days. I love you so, how much you'll never know, 'cause you took your dope away from me. And on and on and on she kept on. This bitch been around before my mother was born. I said, you're up, and I gave her a hit. I said, you cannot have me. I'm too young for you, bitch. She said, no, you're not. Then she starts crying. I says, I'm 19. She says, stop lying. I said, I am. Go ask my mother. In which your wrinkled pussy, I cannot be your lover. TikTok, you don't stop. To the TikTok, you don't quit, biatch. There you go. There you go. Russian gangster rap for that ass. And that's because I missed that super chat along like 20, 30 minutes ago. So I had to make up for it. There you go.
call down your observations and changes in the odor strength or frequency. But overall, we don't have any major concerns. I'm sure some folks will continue to talk about it, but just wanted to kind of close that topic out.
Okay, we got both of those, and just about the orange insulation around the door of the hygiene bay, we're pretty convinced that's not what we smelled today.
All right, thanks for that data.
All right, so there's one video about the space toilet, but there was another video about the space toilet as well.
NASA astronaut.
You are seeing live views right now from one of the solar array wings aboard the Orion spacecraft. As mentioned not too long ago, there is a surveying activity taking place while the crew is asleep. This is where the flight control teams on the ground here maneuver the solar array wings to take a look at the command module, which is sort of on the top left side of your screen, as well as the service module, which is on the bottom part of the spacecraft. This surveying activity essentially checks
objective, during which she's basically conducting a checkout of that emergency communication system on Orion while connected to that deep space network.
And Integrity Houston, we have some news to share with you. As of 30 seconds ago, you are now closer to the moon than you are to us on Earth.
Woo! It's exciting news.
Wow, Jackie, thank you for sharing that with us. We all kind of had a collective, I guess, expression of joy at that. It's hard to imagine, but we can see here on our flight PFD that we are at 118,000 nautical miles. So, yeah, you can do the math. We can see the moon out of the docking hatch right now. It is a beautiful sight. We're seeing more and more of the far side, and it's just a thrill to be here.
All right, so there you go. There's a shot of the crew on their way to the moon, getting caught in a stinky situation with the toilet.
On the way to the moon right now and still speaking with us. Tell me, how do you feel? What's going through your mind? I mean, this must be so incredible because have you allowed the weight of the moment to really fit in here? Have you allowed that to happen?
So in this shot or this interview, they're going to constantly play with this floating globe head. It's like a face with like a globe head. It's a globe head, a floating globe head. I don't know what else to call it. And so they're going to play with this object and they're going to pass the microphone around. And so it's like they always have to be showing you that, hey, look, we're in space. See this floating thing? So I'll show you guys throughout this entire video that they mess with this thing to the point where it's like they're overdoing it. They're playing with it so much that they're trying to force you to notice that they're playing with this object.
You allowed that to happen?
Well, first and foremost, we all wanted to give a shout out to our families first because we are pretty far from Earth and we have not gotten to say hi to them yet. But there was a moment about an hour ago where Mission Control Houston reoriented our spacecraft as the sun was setting behind the Earth. And I don't know what we all expected to see in that moment, but you could see the entire globe from pole to pole. You could see Africa, Europe, and if you looked really close, you could see the northern lights. It was the most spectacular moment, and it paused all four of us in our tracks.
What has been most surprising to you about this so far?
Well, I think probably one of the things that surprised all of us is when those solid rocket boosters actually lit and we left the pad. It was just a moment of disbelief. And yeah, the fact that we launched, it just totally takes you by surprise, even though you're expecting it, at least for me anyway. And I just had a huge smile across my face.
All right, got one from Rumford here. He says, you'd think pointing the camera toward where you're going and where you're coming from would be the two main important angles to show on camera. But nope, we see everything except that. Yeah, exactly. Got more footage of the toilet.
Did it feel different? Because I can imagine that's such a powerful rocket that must have felt different for you.
One of the biggest surprises was how smooth riding those solids was. We all expected a really just dynamic ride, a lot of motion. We were prepared to potentially not being able to see telemetry, maybe even not being able to, touch switches, and it was very smooth. It was a definite difference when they separated and we were just on the main engines, but just a steady rumble. And
yeah, they don't take us over to the window and show it. We got a super chat from NW360 Luke Ness Monster. And he says, notice they never show windows when they are live. Yeah, they never go, oh, here, let's take the camera over here. And here, see, you guys can see the Earth out the window. You know what I mean? They don't pass the camera around. You know what I mean? So they've always got all of the astronauts in frame, all floating awkwardly together. And then they always have an object that they're playing with. So it's like the same playbook. Always got to have a floating object for people to focus on. And the floating object is like, see, we're in space. That's why we have this object that we keep twirling around for you. It's like, yeah, but we've went to space so many times. Why do you guys feel the need to twirl an object in front of us? Like, if we're all sheeple and we should believe that you're in space, why spin the object? It's like they spin the object and mess with the floating object to the point where they do it too much and they make it fucking obvious to the point where it's like they're gaslighting those of us who know that it's fake with this fucking object.
And a great ride.
What do you want to tell Americans here at home who are watching this right now? They're quite amazed at the fact that you are speaking to us on the way to the moon right now. What do you want to tell them about this particular mission and why it's so important?
First and foremost, I would just like to say thank you. Your support and trust in us has enabled this, and so many people that have worked for so long to make this possible. But also, we're just getting started. We've worked really hard, and even though we were a little surprised to actually launch yesterday, we have a lot of mission left ahead of us. And so I really want to tell them, stay tuned and keep tabs on what's going on. NASA's doing a great job of communicating all the things to come.
I can't even tell you how many cheers were there on the ground. I was there watching you all lift off from the Kennedy Space Center, and everyone was so excited, so happy, and that was just incredible. Jeremy, I know this is your...
So I will say the objects do float around in a way that could trick some sheeple into thinking they're in space. And so they've gotten better with the way they handle these floating objects and stuff. And so I can't tell you exactly the method that they're using, but I have my suspicions that they can grab onto an object that's not even there, or they can have, let's say, like a balloon partially filled with helium, but then just replace it with that other fucking floating object. Or they can see the object through like maybe some contact lenses. If they have contact lenses where they can see these objects, like virtual reality contact lenses, if you will, to where they can see these objects and play with them, and the objects don't even have to actually be there. But in some of these cases, it looks like they're actually playing with an object. So I will give them credit that they're the way they play with these objects, it looks better than in the past. Because on the space station, I've seen them screw up and play with nothing. And then it's like they forget to layer in the object that they're supposed to be playing with. So I've caught them blundering on the space station, not including the object that they're playing with. But on this video, they mess with this floating globe head guy a lot, and then it's got like a floating piece of string or something that floats around, and so it does look pretty good, but we know it's fake. So we have to consider that their technology is just going to keep getting better and better at faking it, and so they're going to be able to do some stuff that is going to trick the sheeple, and I won't be able to always explain exactly the method that they're doing it, but we know that they're not really playing with a floating an object in outer space. So we know that there's a trick there. So just because you don't know how a magician does a magic trick doesn't mean you don't know it's a trick. So once you know a magician is performing tricks, you're never going to think, oh my God, it's real magic. So we know they're performing a trick, and they're getting better at performing their tricks. So we can see that they've taken examples of what they've done in the past from the space station, and they're running some of the same plays that they would from the space station interviews.
Your first time in space, and you're surrounded by all of these space vets. What's it been like for you that this is your first mission there?
There has been a tremendous amount of disbelief for me. It's just so extraordinary. I just kept saying to them yesterday, like, I really like it up here. I wish I could have got here sooner. It's just such a tremendous place to be. The views are extraordinary. It's really fun to be floating around, and it just makes me feel like a little kid.
I heard that there was a little bit of an issue with the toilet. Which one of you was the plumber?
I'll take that one. I'm the space plumber. I'm proud to call myself the space plumber. I like to say that it is probably the most important piece of equipment on board. So we were all breathing a sigh of relief when it turned out to be just fine. It was just an issue, I think, of sitting for a long time and needing a little time to warm up, a priming issue. But we did originally think that there could have been potentially something fouling up the motor. And luckily, we are all systems go.
Oh, well, I'm sure I could see the faces right there. Y'all are very happy about that. I see that you're very cozy in there. It's tight quarters, but it was.
Yeah, see, too happy. I've pointed this out many times. They're a little too like, we're going to the moon. We're in the space station. We're in space. Well, I am the resident space plumber, and we did have an issue with the suction system on the toilet earlier, but I fixed it. So everything's good now. Right? Everyone's a little too damn happy to be stuck inside of this tin can together, right? They're so excited that they're going to get to see out the window the moon up close and then come on back that they just can't stop smiling. Just such an amazing experience to be stuck up there floating around in such close quarters with your fellow astronauts that you have a smile permanently stuck on your face.
It's also a little chilly, I heard.
It is quite cold, and yeah, we're wishing we had the lower temperature sleeping bags with us. But right before this PAO event started, I pulled my knit cap off, and I'm ready to put it back on. But Houston's been working with us to change fan speeds and temperature.
See the way she reached in and grabbed this hat, and now she's playing with the hat and the globe face guy or globe head guy. It's like she's overdoing it. Like, look, I've got two objects going now. Woo, right? It's like, just do the fucking interview. But no, they have to like prove to the doubters at home that they're really in space by showing these objects. And I gotta say, it does look like she's playing with objects on screen that are floating. So I can't tell you exactly the method that they're using for this example right here, but I have seen where they on the space station have forgot to layer in the object, and then the astronauts just sitting there pretending to play with an object. So it could be virtual reality objects that aren't there that they layer in, and perhaps they can see these on a screen or monitor, or they can perhaps even see them through virtual reality contact lenses. Or perhaps they've figured out a way to have them interact with different objects and then layer over the top of those objects, you know? So I can't tell you exactly the process that they're using here, but we also have to consider that the AI that they have access to is going to be leaps and bounds better than the AI that they let us use. So we have to consider that AI was around long before they let us slaves at the bottom start messing with it. So they've been using AI to dupe us for a long time. So we always have to wonder how much of what we're looking at is AI, how much of what we're looking at is just CGI, how much of what we're looking at is just like Hollywood movie magic. So even if I can't tell you the exact method for how they're pulling this off, doesn't mean I don't know it's fake, right? And I don't need to know exactly the program or method that they're using to know it's fake.
Temperature set points, and we've actually been able to warm it up a lot better in the last half a day or so. Our last nap before TLI, we got a lot more comfortable.
Well, that's a really interesting question. How is it that you take a nap in there? What does sleeping even look like?
Well, let's see. So we've been off the planet for about 30 hours now, and we've had 2 very short naps. We actually just gathered for our first meal together in space. That's how busy we have been the last day and a half. It has been really an amazing beginning flight plan. But sleeping here is it's actually sort of comical. Christina has been sleeping heads down in the middle of the vehicle, kind of.
So they claim that this chick sleeps right here in the spot we're looking at, upside down, right? So apparently this guy sleeps up here, this chick hangs upside down, and they all just sleep and hang out in this small space all the time. Like, so there isn't like any other rooms for them to go to. Apparently this is it. We're looking at it. Wow. Not very much space, but they seem to be doing pretty good. They seem to be happy. So they don't seem to be bothered by being claustrophobic up there.
Like a bat suspended from our docking tunnel. Victor's been up where Jeremy is right now. He's got a nice little.
And I want to thank Mike 6 for a super generous super chat coming in with a donation. He says, asshole nuts. I like it. Asshole nuts.
Nook wedged in there, and then Jeremy has been stretched out on seat 1, and I've been sleeping under the displays just in case anything goes wrong. It's more comfortable than you would think, and it's nice to sleep in weightlessness again. Every time I was dozing off last night, I had that image that I was tripping off a curb and I was waking myself up. So my body's getting reacclimated. It's been a few years since I've been up here.
I heard it's the best sleep up in space. Do you feel the weight of history that you're going to be traveling farther than any other human?
Mike 6 says, Jake float in space with some impersonations. All right, so you're not going to give me an impersonation. You're just going to let me choose to do an impersonation of my own choice while floating in space. Okay, I could do that.
Let me tell you something. If you think that you can mess with the macho man while he's floating in space, well, then you've got another thing coming. Because the macho man, ooh, yeah, he's never felt as good as he does now in zero gravity. Ooh, yeah. So if you think you're gonna tangle with the macho man here in outer space, you're gonna need to step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
There you go. There's Macho Man Randy Savage floating in space. Oh, Macho Man! What you fail to understand is that my Undertaker is up here in space as well! And he's here to take you down to the underworld!
Macho Man, I'm here in space to tell you I'm gonna take you down to the underworld and you will rest in
peace. There you go. Macho Man, Paul Bear, and the Undertaker in space. No one's ever requested that before. So there you go. Just for you, Mike 6. Hopefully you dug it. That's the first time I've ever had those guys float around in space. And since he gave me free reign to pick whichever impersonations I want, I pulled a couple out of my ass, and there you go. Pulled a couple 2-3 wrestlers out my ass just for you guys. All right. What were we doing? Oh, yeah. Space shit. I almost forgot.
You know, it's a remarkable thing. It's you would think it would be weighty, but we just feel like we're lifted up by the team that supports us, and you just sort of execute the plan. A lot of people telling us how to work this and manage this vehicle, and a lot of great training, and you just kind of go step by step, which I think is pretty remarkable.
You know what I'm noticing? All my most famous impressions are now turning into Jake do this guy, but in space, right? So now it's Jake do Russell Brand in space, do Richie from Boston in space. Now it's everybody's fucking floating around in space. Once I started doing impressions while floating, then it became more popular than just doing a regular impression. So now nobody wants a regular impression anymore. Now it's floating in space, right? Russell Brand, Richie from Boston, and Roseanne are having a menage a trois in space. Go! Ah! All right.
What this team can do, and it really highlights their excellence.
And I think I just want to add, we just got done our translunar injection burn, and it was pretty tense moments there. For a second. And when we got done that burn, we just kind of looked at each other as a crew. We have been to the moon before in 1968 through 1972. It's been a long time since we've been back. And I got to tell you.
And you're not going back. You're going to fly by, buddy. So you don't get to step foot on the moon. Nobody's going to ever talk about you because you're just going to be the people that flew by the moon. So people still talk about men walking on the moon, the people who believe it, but nobody's going to talk about this crew once this is over. Everyone's going to forget all about these losers. Hey, remember the losers who flew by the moon? No? Yeah, me neither. That's what'll happen. Hey, do you not remember those losers that did a flyby of the moon? Yes, I don't remember. Yeah, me too. Yes, I also don't remember. Can't think of a more fucking forgettable event than this.
Yeah, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort, and we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
Yeah, nothing normal about this. What are you most excited about once you get to the moon?
Looking out the window. Looking out the window.
Having just experienced incredible views of planet Earth and seeing the entire planet out the window in one pane.
That's the only answer that it could be. So that's a fucking stupid question. What are you most excited about going to the moon? Well, we looked out the window earlier and we saw Earth, and now we're going to look out the window and see the moon. So I'd have to say, looking out the window. That's what I thought you'd say. Because what else are you fuckers going to do besides look out the window? That's like the whole reason that you're even going. So you can fucking look out the window. So it's kind of a stupid fucking question to be like, hey, what are you most excited about? Using the space toilet. I don't care as much about looking out the window at the Earth or the moon. I'm most excited about having the shit sucked out of my asshole. That's why I'm smiling so much. I love having the piss sucked out of my pecker. In fact, right after it sucks the piss out of my pecker, it gives me an orgasm and sucks the splooge out too. It's wonderful. That's what I'm most excited about. Thanks for asking. There you go. That would be a realistic interview. That would be the most realistic answer to the most realistic question ever in the history of space interviews.
Knowing that we're about to have some similar views of the moon in that same way is definitely getting me more excited for it. I knew that that is what we would see, but there's nothing that prepares you for the breathtaking aspect of seeing your home planet both lit up bright as day and also the moon glow on it at night with the beautiful beam of the sunset, and knowing that we're going to get similar views of the moon. I'm really excited for that. And then of course, heading home. Right now we're in our cruise phase outbound, but we'll be turning our sights back on our home planet shortly.
Good one, Mike. I didn't even think to bring this up. So Mike here, he says 3 guys on the space shit. Who fixed the toilet? Hairspray girl did. Yep. Of course, the woman is the smartest one of the bunch. Of course, we all know that. If there's a problem that needs to be solved, you have to have the smart woman fix the problem. None of the guys would have had the mental capacity to fix such a complex issue with the motor on the shit sucker, right? She actually specialized in repairing shit-sucking motors back when she went to NASA school. So, to be fair, she does have a level of expertise that the other guys don't have, right? She had an emphasis on shit-sucking studies. Right? She got her master's degree in space toiletry repair. These are the best of the best, you guys. These are the best that the government has to offer. There are no other astronauts who are more qualified than these ones.
Shorter, probably it's going to fly by, but we're just excited for both of those milestones.
As you all know, there is so much division at home right now. What is it that you're feeling, and what message do you want to send to the American people about what you're seeing out that window?
Well, the first thing I would say is trust us. You look amazing. You look.
I'd trust you a lot more if you went ahead and showed us out the window. Like, here you are bringing up the fucking window again, but nobody's going to take the camera and stick it up to the window. Smelling some bullshit here. You want me to trust you? Take this camera that you're looking into and shove it up to the fucking window so we can all have a look. Astronaut hole.
Look beautiful. And from up here, you also look like one thing. You know, Homo sapiens is all of us, no matter where you're from or what you look like. We're all one people. And so, this mission, one of the things that's amazing about being around and just being.
Hey, man. You need to watch your fucking mouth, man. Hey, man, this fucking asshole naughty called me a homo sapien, man. Hey, man, I don't kiss no guys, man. I'm not a homo sapien, man. You're a homo sapien, man. No, I don't think that's what he means, man. I think you got it all wrong. You need to calm down, man. You need to be mellow. No, man, this guy thinks I make out with other guys, man. Hey, man, you make out with other guys, man. You're a homo sapien, man. Can't believe this guy, man, saying that all of us are homo sapien. Man, when this guy come back to Earth, man, I'm gonna bust his motherfucker's head open, man. His fucking mom's not even gonna recognize his ass, man. You need to settle down, man. You can get arrested for threatening a government official's life, man. It's like a felony or something, man. I don't care, man. I don't mind to catch a charge, man. This guy said call me a motherfucking homo sapien, man. I don't care, man. I'm my kids, man.
All right, there you go. Little Cheech and Chong getting pissed off about being called homo sapiens. And no one even asked that I do that. I just started doing it for free out of the kindness of my heart. That's right. I gave you guys a Cheech and Chong impression for free out of the kindness and goodness of my own soul. Don't let anyone ever tell you that I didn't give you that, because I did.
Being an astronaut, serving our countries at this time, is that we get to give ourselves a mission that we can hold on to say, hey, look at what we did for the rest of our lives. We call amazing things that humans do moonshots for a reason, because this brought us together and showed us what we can do when we not just putting our differences aside, when we bring our differences together and use all the strengths to accomplish something great. And so this mission will give.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light when they landed on the space toilet, those fucking commies fucking broke it. Then it was fucking broken, and Trump fixed that shit, and now it's working again so they can have shit sucked out of their ass. I'll say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the space toilet? Play ball.
All right, there you go. I think I effectively chased away a good portion of the audience with that one. That one's going out to Dan H655. Wanted me to do Roseanne singing They Landed on the Space Toilet. So I combined They Landed on the Space Toilet with the national anthem. Hope you don't mind. There you go. Mike Tobin Music says, huge fan, Billy Madison Swan impression.
Shampoo is better. I clean the hair. No, conditioner is better. I make the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? Yes, really. Wah, 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 wah. Stop looking at me, Swan.
There you go. Billy Madison Swan impression. All right, that's like a new wrinkle to my impression repertoire. I now do movie scene reenactments as well, right? Famous movie scene reenactments are now part of the repertoire, but it has to be a movie I've seen and an impression I'm capable of doing. Otherwise, it will suck. Let's continue.
Us one of those that we all can remember and hold on to for the rest of our days. And I hope people will tune in and give us a chance.
Integrity, what an honor to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us.
Integrity. This is Houston ACR. That concludes the ABC News portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Fox News.
910 ready. Integrity. This is Trace Gallagher with Fox News. How do you hear me?
Hey, Trace, we got you loud and clear. How about us?
See, she keeps positioning this globe head toy in the center, and she does it probably, I don't know, 20, 30 times throughout this whole video.
I've got you loud and clear.
See, she's like infatuated with it to where it's annoying. Like, just do the interview, bitch. If we're sheep and we believe you're in space, we don't need to see you mess with that. And if we're not sheep and we don't believe that you're in space, all you're doing is gaslighting us and pissing us off by messing with that. It'd be better if you didn't give us anything to call you out on. Like, if they all just stood there and were super boring, there'd be a lot less for us to point at.
I want to explain to the audience that there is a 4-second delay, so there'll be some pause between the questions and the answers. Congratulations. How does it feel to be the first humans to leave Earth's orbit in some 54 years? Is there a difference in Earth's orbit and being outside the orbit?
Hey, y'all, I just thought of something. Didn't they say that there's a deadly radiation belt that they can't make it through to get back to the moon? But they somehow made it through the deadly radiation belt in the late 60s and early 70s when they did supposedly land on the moon, because they claimed they didn't know back then about the deadly radiation belt, so therefore it didn't affect them. But then they became aware of the supposed deadly radiation belt. So how come they haven't told us how they've gotten through this deadly radiation belt? I distinctly remember that was one of the reasons why they said they weren't going back, was because there is a belt of deadly radiation. But we haven't heard anything about how they solved that problem. Has anyone heard how they solved the issue of deadly radiation on this trip, or have they just been talking about space toilets for the last couple days?
Well, we are still technically in Earth's orbit, although we did just do our translunar injection burn, and so we are definitely 100% on our way to the moon. The lunar gravity will take over in a couple of days here and start pulling us around the far side. At the end of our translunar injection here about an hour and a half ago, we just really looked at each other, and I know the United States has done this 1968 through 1972, but this is unbelievable that we can put our minds to something and pull it off. This is an unbelievable technical accomplishment.
All right, got RY wanting me to do Morgan Freeman. We're in space. Jake the asshole is wrong. Trust me. All right, I think I got you covered here. Gotta take off the hat for this one. I've been told that people trust me, and if you trust me, then you'll know I am telling you the truth, that I'm in outer space right now. In fact, I was told people trust me when I recommended that you take the vaccine, so I hope that you trust me now. So that's why, when I tell you Jake the Awake is wrong, space is real, and I'm there now, I hope that you'll trust me. Please? There you go. There you go. Morgan Freeman in space. There you go. Morgan Freeman, who some folks think is Jimi Hendrix. Shinbo 010. Shinbo says, laying down guy just had a glitch. Back pocket when he moved. Oh, you're talking about the space station crew. You said laying down guy just had a glitch. Back pocket when he moved. All right, let me see if I can go back and find it. Not sure how long ago this came in.
Well, we are still technically in Earth's orbit, although we did just do our translunar injection burn, and so we are definitely 100% on our way to the moon. The lunar gravity will take over in a couple of days here and start pulling us around the far side. At the end of our translunar injection here, about an hour and a half ago, we just really looked.
910 ready. Integrity, this is Trace Gallagher with Fox News. How do you hear me?
Hey, Trace, we got you loud and clear. How about us?
I've got you loud and clear. I want to explain to the audience that there is a 4-second delay.
I'm trying to find the exact moment this glitch happened. I'm not sure exactly the second it happens, but I'm looking around this area trying to find it, buddy.
There'll be some pause between the questions and the answers. Congratulations. How does it feel to be the first humans to leave Earth's orbit in some 54 years? Is there a difference in Earth's orbit and being outside the orbit?
Well, we are still technically in Earth's orbit, although we did just do our translunar injection burn, and so we are definitely 100% on our way to the moon. The lunar gravity will take over in a couple of days here and start pulling us around the far side. At the end of our translunar injection here, about an hour and a half ago, we just really looked at each other, and I know the United States has done this 1968 through 1972, but this is unbelievable that we can put our minds to something and pull it off. This is an unbelievable technical accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, it really is unbelievable to us. We watched this thing. It was just this flawless launch, and it was unbelievable to watch. And
I missed it whenever it was. I'm not sure the exact second, so I have no idea how to pinpoint the exact time that his leg might have glitched. But if you look real close, it's never super clear footage. So the one thing about NASA footage, it's always lower quality. They never give you 4K. Usually it's even lower than what they're giving us here. So you never get to see that much detail.
what really fascinates me about this is that you, in a few days,
their hands look fuzzy. So when I see their hands move, they look fuzzy. See, like this right here? Can you guys see it? Like there's a shitload of little lines that go over their hands. And so, I think the super chat's blocking it. So like her hand right here, see how there's like a bunch of little lines? And when you see their hands move, it's like tons of little lines over their hands.
what really fascinates me about this.
See it? See her hand? See his thumbs? So stuff like this, when you spot this and you point at it, they always have excuses. They'll say, oh, well, it's artifact compression because the signal's coming from space. So anytime you do point out a glitch or something that doesn't look quite right, like there'll be someone's face that'll like morph for a second and go back to normal on the space station. They'll just say that it's an artifact compression because it's so far away and there's lag between the signal coming in. It's because it's so far away that it glitches, basically is the excuse that the nearest NASA fanboy will give you. So that's the issue with pointing at any sort of little glitch or whatever. they just say, oh yeah, it's because it's so far away. So it glitched, you know? And then of course I glitch out sometimes. Like when I'm telling too much truth, they down throttle me and then I get all pixelated and glitchy. So they'll just claim it was just a situation like that.
This is that you in a few days will become the first humans to travel the farthest in space, more than anybody else has ever done. It took us a long time to get back here, and now we're about to exceed that. Is that a moment of pride? Is it a moment of history? How do we feel about that?
It's great you brought that up. We were aware that we would pass that milestone if we happened to launch on this date. There were other days where we wouldn't have necessarily. So we are not necessarily a crew that lives on superlatives, but it is a milestone that's important. It's important that people can understand and wrap their heads around what is the latest in what we're doing. What does this mean relative to what we've done in the past? What are we going to be pushing for into the future? We think that the
All right. So black guy's doing some weird stuff with his hands here. You'll see he like grabs this flap and then it moves weird. And then he's not sure what to do with his hands for a second. Looks pretty goofy.
we've done in the past. What are we going to be pushing for into the future? I mean, and wrap their heads around what is the
Here he is. He's messing with this flap and then it moves in a strange way.
latest in what we're doing. What does this mean relative to what we've done in the past?
And then he does this weird thing with his hands where he's not sure what to do.
What are we going to be pushing for into the
It's almost like he was acting like he was playing with an object, but they didn't put an object in his hands. Right?
future? We think that the journey that we've been on and all of our teams have been on with us is so much more than just one number. But we also hope that that number just keeps being exceeded and exceeded by the future crews. That's why we're here, to build a legacy for the future.
You know, it's interesting because yesterday, I mean, this thing went off almost perfectly, right? It was on time. Was that surprising? Because, you know, you look back just in recent history and missions tend to be delayed.
All right, what do you guys see? Rumford says there's an actual robot in the chat. Who is it? Who's the robot? I can't keep track of everybody saying all this shit in the chat because I'm trying to, like, you know, run the stream. So I'm never able to see who's all here and who's all saying what. So I have to try and, you know, stay on top of the stream, explain what's going on, and then while I'm showing maybe a minute or two of the video, then maybe I can look over at the chat and read a few messages and whatnot. But so I can't stay on top of everything that's being said. So another thing we can consider is that they use the zero-G plane, also known as the vomit comet, where they do parabolic maneuvers in an airplane, and it can create like 30-second intervals of weightlessness. So then people will argue that how do they keep the object floating if the plane is going up and down? Shouldn't you see the object like hit the ground for a few seconds and then start floating again? And so people might argue that astronauts are floating for too long, or the objects are floating for too long for it to be a zero-G plane. But we have seen instances where they have used the zero-G plane in the past. And so that could be a method that they possibly used here as well.
Sometimes hours, sometimes days. This thing went pretty much according to what everybody was hoping it would do. Was that somewhat surprising when they said we are a go for launch?
Mike 6 says the black guy is throwing gang signs in space. Hey, man, you could take the black man out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the black man. Know what I'm saying? tried to do the blood sign. I'm like, how do they do the blood sign? I'm going to get myself shot throwing gang signs up now. I'm just kidding around. All right. Black guy throwing gang signs in space. And I got another super chat says, the same old lame interviews with the ridiculous floating hair and the dumb toy. They're targeting children with this. Yeah, see, they've basically used the same playbook that they've been using on the space station. So this looks really similar to every space station interview that we've seen for the last decade. And yeah, the constant touching of the floating object. And then when it starts to leave the screen, the girl grabs it and sticks it back out in the center, right? And then the passing of the floating microphone back and forth, the body language, the way they hold their hands. Yeah, all of it is very similar to what they show us on the International Space Station. And yeah, I have to agree that they're targeting the most sheeplish of sheeple and young kids. So only the dumbest of sheeple still believe in space travel. And so they got to keep up this charade for them. And of course, the children, the next generation, they got to keep them dumbed down and believing in fake space travel. So yeah, for sure. That's why they got to keep the charade going. That's the whole point of this, was that the moon landings happened so long ago that a lot of people who are alive now didn't get the opportunity to get brainwashed back in 69 in the early 70s. So what we're looking at is the modern day moon mission brainwashing, except now in 2026, they don't bother landing on the moon because they're too lazy. So in the late 60s, early 70s, the ultimate in brainwashing, the moon missions where man walks on the moon, like the ultimate conspiracy, the biggest brainwashing event ever, right? And so now they're recreating that, except they're too lazy to try doing the landing part. They know they're going to get called out by guys like me, people all over the internet who are skeptical of this sort of thing. So they don't have the balls to attempt a fake moon landing right now, but they keep claiming they're going to do it one day. So we've been waiting and waiting for them to go back to the moon and fake it again. And this is as close as they've come so far. I don't count them landing rovers on the moon or rovers on Mars as like the same as sending people. So this is like the first time they've sent people supposedly to the moon to recreate that the same level of brainwashing that they did back in the early 70s and late 60s.
Yes. You know, it was surprising. I think we were we like to say that we're prepared without having an expectation. But you know, in the back of your mind, you kind of hope you launch. And then when we got really close, it was like, wait, we're getting ready to go to space. And when those solids lit, you know, it was a ride where you're trying to be professional, but the kid inside of you wants to break out and just hoot and holler. But what I wanted to say about that was our exploration ground systems team, our launch control team, they have had some time to practice since February and March and really dial in their procedures and learn and grow. And so I just want to give them some credit. It was an example of how hard they've been working lately that we launched. And it even though we didn't get to really watch.
All right. QWERTY True Q71. I am not a fan. I've said this so many times. I'm not a fan of the handles. I wish we could just go back to regular names. I never changed it on my end. YouTube just started showing people's handles, and I looked for a way to be able to switch it back, and there is no option. YouTube just changed it to where they show these handles. And the reason I don't like it is because there's no spaces. So when I read someone's name, I have to try and figure out where the spaces should go. And so I've actually accidentally called people the wrong name. I've just butchered people's handles because there's no spaces. And so on the spot, I got to figure out like where to try and insert the spaces. So I wish they would just change it back to people's regular names that they had listed before. So this whole handles thing, like nobody asked for the handles. They just did it one day. They just changed it. Anyway, QWERTY True Q71 says in the 60s they played golf. On the moon in 2026 they sit around in a smelly room doing nothing all day. Imagine that, no shower. Imagine that, no shower supposedly. So fake. So yeah, like I was just saying earlier, they got way lazy with this fake moon mission to the point where there's no walking on the moon, there's no rover, there's no golf. Like, so the most exciting elements for the sheeple of their last fake moon missions was the fact that they were walking around, bouncing around on the moon surface. They would get in the little lunar dune buggy, the lunar module, and they would drive around. They'd play golf. You know what I mean? And so they don't have any of that imagery to show the people this time. And so the best that they got are like still shots of the Earth and still shots of the moon. And then talk about the toilet not working properly, right? So I agree. The 2026 version of the moon landing sucks donkey balls compared to the OG 1969 and early 70s moon landings. I mean, those were fake as fuck too, don't get me wrong. But looks wise and storytelling wise, it was a better TV show than what they're showing us now. You give me the choice of watching the classic moon landing footage versus this new shit. I think the old shit looks better. All right, I got a super chat from Eternal's Courage. He says, please go back just a bit to where you had black dude just talking. White dude on the left pulls on something invisible and the floating stuff moves. Okay.
Yes. You know, it was surprising. I think we were, we like to say that we're prepared without having an expectation. But, you know, in the back of your mind, you kind of hope you launch. And then when we got really close, it was like, wait, we're getting ready to go to space. And when those solids lit, you know, it was a ride where you're trying to be professional, but the kid inside of you wants to break out and just hoot and holler. But what I wanted to say about that was,
were you talking about right there?
Our exploration ground systems team, our launch control team, they have had some time to practice since February and March and really dial in their procedures and learn and grow. And so I just want to give them some credit. It was an example of how hard they've been working lately that we launched. And it even though we didn't get to really watch, but it felt beautiful.
Yeah, they should give themselves a big round of applause because it really, I know it felt beautiful. It certainly looked beautiful. Very quickly, Victor Glover, while I have you on the...
Is that what you were talking about when he grabbed the little globe head guy?
You know, in the back of your mind, you kind of hope you launch. And then when we got really close, it was like, wait, we're getting ready to go to space. And when those solids lit, you know, it was a ride where you're trying to be professional, but the kid inside of you wants to break out and just hoot and holler. But what I wanted to say about that was our exploration ground systems team, our launch control team,
that was weird looking, the way his fingers are right here. So he's got his fingers clasped together. This does look a little strange.
You launch, and then when we got really close, it was like, wait,
and then they move in kind of a funky way.
We're getting ready to go to space. And when those solids lit, you know, it was a ride where you're trying to be professional, but
and then he just decides to bop the little globe head guy a few times. It's kind of weird looking.
But the kid inside of you wants to break out and just hoot and holler. But what I wanted to say...
Then he goes back to grabbing his hand. So yeah, that whole thing was strange. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about.
about that was our exploration ground systems team, our launch control team. They have had some time to practice since February and March and really dial in their procedures and learn and grow. And so I just want to give them some credit. It was an example of how hard they've been working lately that we launched. And it even though we didn't get to really watch, but it felt beautiful.
Yeah, they should give themselves a big round of applause because it really, I know it felt beautiful. It certainly looked beautiful. Very quickly, Victor Glover, while I have you on the microphone, we are broadcasting across the nation, but we're focused. We're based in Los Angeles. And I thought since you were from Southern California, maybe you'd like to give a shout out to your friends and family here.
Oh, well, of course. My mom lives there, my grandparents, all the cousins, aunts, and uncles, and just everybody in California. Thank you for all of the support and the love for all of these years. So many of my career milestones happened in that special place that will always be home, no matter where the government sends me. You're going with us.
How has it been?
All right. Here's a good point by Krieger. He says, Jake, they are going 4,000 miles per hour and perfectly smooth. What the fuck? Not even a little bump. People are idiots. Well, the nearest globe cuck will tell you that the reason it's so smooth is because out in space, zero gravity, there's no resistance. And so you can go unfathomable speeds and it won't be rough or anything, and people inside won't notice it at all. And it's because there's no resistance out in space. And so, yeah, you can easily glide along at 4,000 miles an hour and it's buttery smooth, is because you're in magic floaty land and there's no gravity. There's no air, oxygen to slow you down or any of that stuff. No wind resistance. So you're able to just glide right along perfectly. And that's why it's so smooth. And then they'll claim that you're an idiot for even suggesting this question. Right? So that's the thing. People who believe in the globe and space travel have an excuse for everything. Nothing looks weird. Nothing looks fake. They have an excuse for all of it. Everything that you could possibly point out, they will find an excuse and be glad to give it to you. But then they'll also insinuate that you are the stupid one for even asking the question. So people who believe in the globe, they're happy to repeat the excuses that are given by NASA. And NASA always has their excuses ready to go because they know that the skeptics are going to ask these questions. So they have to educate the sheeple to repeat this on their behalf in case any of their friends and family get skeptical and ask a question like this. They have someone there to put them in their place. Say, oh, well, it's because there's no gravity and no wind resistance or anything. So 400 miles an hour, 4,000 miles an hour is just going to be super smooth, of course. JP Crucino says, hey, Jake, do you recall the space debris photos where it looked like Earth surrounded by trash? It was like a climate change guilt trip mini psyop. Yeah, in fact, I could probably find one of those. Like if I type in like Earth surrounded by space debris, we could probably find a bunch of pictures depicting a bunch of shit around the Earth. Yeah, see? So all you got to do is type in Earth surrounded by space debris, and then you get all these lovely pictures, right? But that's not what the Earth looked like from the photos that were taken by the Artemis crew. We definitely don't see the Earth surrounded by debris and satellites, right? So why do these pictures exist? Why did they make these pictures if this isn't true? You know what I mean? What was the whole point of depicting Earth like this if this isn't the case at all? Because the pictures that they're showing us from Artemis don't show any of this debris. Yeah, they can't make up their mind whether the stars are visible in space or not. They can't make up their mind whether space debris and satellites are visible or not. They can't make up their mind on whether there's a dark side of Earth or whether Earth's always lit up by sunlight and moonlight. So they just show us all of it whenever they feel like it. They show us whatever they want, whenever they want, and they've got an excuse for any inconsistency that you might point out. Mike 6 says, that's not a microphone. It's a space dildo. It's not a mic. It's a bloody shape-shifting space dildo. It shape-shifts from being a bloody dick pump to being a bloody space dildo. Therefore, it's suitable for a female shape-shifting orcorn or a male shape-shifting orcorn. You get a shape-shifting dildo for a female orcorn. And then if it wants to be a male shape-shifting orcorn and use the same shape-shifting dildo, you can shape-shift it to a dick pump. It's a moldy roller shape-shifting dick pump dildo. You could probably sell quite a few of those. If you could figure out a way how to get a dildo to turn into a dick pump and be both a dick pump and a dildo at the same time, you could probably sell a lot of those, I would reckon, right? I don't know about you guys, but I smell a money-making opportunity. I'm thinking I should start a GoFundMe to secure the funds to create the first ever shape-shifting dildo dick pump. Microphone. Has to have a microphone as well so that you can give it vocal commands, right? Be like, hey, shape-shifting dildo dick pump, please shape-shift from a dildo to a dick pump now. And then it'll be like, and it'll shape-shift. It's got a microphone. It listens to you all the time. So that when you give it the important command to change from a dildo to a dick pump, it knows to do it. All right. Never thought we were going to be talking about space dildos tonight, but here we are. And even better, I'm being paid to talk about space dildos. Do you get paid to talk about space dildos? I think not. You know who does get paid to talk about space dildos? Me. That's because I'm a space dildo expert. That's right. I went to school and graduated with a degree in space dildoism. So therefore, I am more than qualified to be paid as a professional to talk to you about space dildos. And I want you to know, if somebody doesn't have a space dildoism degree, then therefore they aren't qualified. They don't have the credentials to talk about space dildos. So therefore, if you hear anyone than me, just know they're full of shit. And I am the real space dildo source of knowledge that you should trust. Okay? There you go. It's a new bit I'm working on called Space Dildo Joke. All right. Holy cow, we've been on here for almost 3 hours, you guys. Holy cow, where does the time go? All right, I'm going to read a few more, and then we're going to wrap it up. So I'm getting hungry. My dog wants to go out on a walk. So, a few more, and we're going to wrap it up here. RY wants me to do Stallone. Says, wants me to do Stallone. All right, Space, what do you think? I'm stupid.
What, do you think I'm dumb? What, do you think I'm stupid? What do you think I got diarrhea coming out of my ears, Adrian? I'm afraid, all right? I'm afraid if I try to go back to the moon, we might die. I'm afraid. Think I'm dumb? Think I figure out how to go back to the moon? Hey, Polly, I was thinking maybe we should, we should go back to the moon, and I don't appreciate, Uncle Polly. You talk negative about going to the moon. What do you think I'm dumb, Uncle Polly? What do you think I'm stupid? What do you think I got no brains or so? What do you think I'm brain dead, I'm deaf and dumb? Hey, when I was in space, I took an Oreo cookie to space, and then I opened up the Oreo, and then I licked the cream off both sides of the Oreo, and then I put it back together, and then I let it linger for a while it was out in space. Then I took, a patch of milk. You can't have a cup of milk in space because, it'll float away, So I had a pouch of milk, and then I took a drink of the milk and I mixed it with the cream of the cookie. It was delicious. All right,
There you go. That's definitely some Stallone for that ass. I always do the Rocky version of Stallone. Arnold Space Dildo, get to the chopper.
And that is why when I tell you to get down and very serious, you need to get down to the chopper right now. We don't have time to call it a helicopter. Right now, Earth is being attacked by space dildos. We don't have any time to get down to the helicopter. That's why we need to save as much time as possible. When they say get down to the chopper, it is a time saver. Because if I say get down to the helicopter, it takes much longer. And then you ask, well, where is the helicopter? So instead, from now on, we call the helicopter chopper. So that's why we save time so that we can escape from this space dildo. It's a very serious matter. The space dildos, they're coming down, raining down on California. That is why I must tell you, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
All right. There's a little space dildo Arnold for that ass. Why? Because that's what you wanted. I'm giving you guys what you guys want here. I didn't plan on talking about space dildos tonight, but you guys obviously love the topic so much that you're forcing me to talk about it. I showed up tonight wanting to break down, some fake images that were being shown from the government, but here you guys are wanting to talk about space dildos. Just kidding. Or am I? All right. I think I made it through all these super chats. Got one more coming from Davey D, Shady Davey D from the LaFleur Network. He says, thanks, Jake, for the truth and entertainment. Great stream. Hit the like button on the way out. Sub up and join the LaFleur Network, Lair of LaFleur tomorrow. So shout out to Davey D for joining us tonight. And he does have his own channel and he uploads content as well. So go ahead and check him out. And make sure you hit the thumbs up before you leave. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. I did a shitload of impressions tonight. Some of them were good. Some of them sucked donkey dick. But hey, it was live. I did what I could. I tried my best. And so this has been another stream from your favorite comedian, your favorite content creator, and mine, Jake the Awake. And I got to say, I enjoyed my time spent here tonight hanging out with you guys. So if you enjoyed your time spent here hanging out with me and in the live chat, show your love, show your appreciation, smack that thumbs up button right now. And you guys, I really do from the bottom of my heart appreciate all these super chats, all the crazy requests. I really do have a lot of fun hanging out with you guys and telling the truth and doing all these crazy impressions. So I couldn't think of a better way to spend my Saturday night, except maybe boning 10 hot chicks at the same time. Might be slightly better, but I wouldn't know nothing about that. So until next time, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, wrap it up. And of course, just as I say that, got a super chat coming in from RY. Wants me to do Roseanne promoting the space dildo.
Well, we're trying to wrap up the stream and say goodnight, But we got a freaking commie here who wants me to promote some fucking space dildos. Must be because you're infatuated with dick. Becky, darling, DJ, get down here. We're going to have space dildos for dinner.
Space dildos for dinner. Oh, what will I say next? I don't know. Tune in next time and find out. And with that said, I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a good night. I'll see you guys in the next live stream, the next video, whichever comes first. I love you guys. Peace out. Good night. And bye-bye.